Muppet dancing. Yep, that's right. Muppet dancing. All right, we got that going, got that going, got music going. Got the world's best Uncle Mug going. I'm assuming this music is copyright free. It's embarrassing if it's not, I suppose. Now playing original mix by Sam Laxton. I'm assuming if it's part of the Streamlabs desktop thing that I'm allowed to use it. That's a good point, actually. Alright, let me pull up some stuff here. Good evening, tells Mac Knife. Good evening, tells Mac Knife. Oh, echo. Oh, echo. That's why. All right. Let's have a look at this here. I don't even know what some of the news means. That's how far about Brian Horn. Thank you very much. All right, let's get rid of this wonderful tunes. Filming a TikTok. Oh my God! Don't even start. Should I be on TikTok? I mean, is that something that is that something I should be pursuing? I'm not sure. I don't think I was made to. I don't think I was made for TikTok. I'm not sure I'm not made for Twitter anymore, for that matter. I need backup or a dance partner. I am good every which way. All right, Gippy G, you're there to cover me with some dance moves. Cal, thank you, Brian Horn and Sir Dragon Chris. What did Sir Dragon Chris do? Oh, you subscribed. Thank you, Sir Dragon Chris, for your kind subscription, and to Cal for being there to bail me out when I just can't get the chat working. How are you, Cal? Got any news for us? Any exciting things to tell us about? Jonathan MLH. Good evening to you too. It's a bit later, a little later today than normal. I was just, I was hanging out with an old friend of mine, and it's just she's so much fun to talk to. We hours go by as we chit chat. I also spent the morning, well, the mid morning in physio for my shoulders, and I'll tell you, this guy's found some things that definitely help. Holy mother! I had no idea that shoulders were as complicated as they are. Oh, thank you, DPA, Deepak OP for the 40. Sci-fi looking prisms. I wouldn't touch TikTok. They're a bad app. Yeah, I worry about it because I don't know whether this is true or not. So I'll put this out to all of you. I heard that there were two different algorithms, one for China and one for the Western world, as they would call it, I guess, or I would call it. I just called it that. And that the Western world is all about just wasting your time, getting those dopamine hits, and just basically destroying our youth and our time and our, basically wasting our time on this troubled sphere. Whereas China was all about like, oh, look at the great work so-and-so did. And isn't it great to be really good at math and to do, so basically promoting people excelling and doing a lot of, productive good for their country and their and themselves, I guess. But, basically, making education and learning important to kids, as opposed to making, oh, look, so-and-so fell over and landed in a puddle or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so China sucks up all your personal data from all of their apps. Well, I would argue, K McCabe, that so do all the other, all of these freaking apps are doing that, right? All of these companies are doing that. I mean, maybe it's a little scarier when it's in the hands of China, but, look, I don't know. Again, I don't know how much of this is true and how much of it is just drama on Twitter, but, you get banned if you pretend to be Elon Musk on there. Like, if you not even pretend, if you make a joke by changing your name to Elon Musk without changing your handle or anything, it's just changing what it says above your name. I've seen that people change their name all the time to silly things. Like, we're usually around Christmas and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like Grinch Hewlett and stuff. What is that? So I'm gonna get shut down for impersonating a whoever owns the Grinch now. probably Disney. They own everything else. Twitter is and always has been a cesspool. Lord, what's Mortarius? I like that name, Lord Mortarius. I've not found that. Like I found a lot of friends and kindred spirits on Twitter. Like I all of the podcasts that I do in my little geeky world are all people who I've met through Twitter for the most part. I've got good friends that I've met through Twitter. I mean, I'm sad to see it go. I've been playing with Mastodon, and I'm thoroughly confused and very frustrated because the app won't let me in sometimes, and actually it won't right now. But I can get in on my computer and stuff. I see so much potential with Mastodon. Like it can become so much larger than Twitter, so much more exciting than Twitter. And I love that automatically included is the alt text. I mean, it's there. The way it works there is part of the thing you do is to fill in what it says. Is to fill in what your image is. I think that's fascinating. And I think that's great from an assistive standpoint and also from a computer aided searching standpoint as well. Moi, David, how is your German today? Ist gut. That's all I got. I did take German for 1 year at school. I think I got the lowest mark. No, my lowest mark was math, I think, where I think they gave me, the guy said, look, just go through the essay, go through the exam and just answer anything you can answer. And I wrote my name at the top and I wrote the date. And there was a bonus question at the end that I don't know why I knew the answer to it, but I knew the answer to that. And that's all I did. Then I think I got 8% on the exam or something. And even that was probably kind. Rowan Crossley, sup all? Well, hey David, or hey Rowan, right back to you. Thotha Fate, hello from France. Bonjour, comment ça va? I had to get verified on Twitter. What does that mean? Deepak OP. I mean, what is that? I don't know what, how did you get verified? Do you have to, you mean you paid? Did you pay the $8? I don't know about that. I just, fall in love with the German and you'll pick it up real quick. Well, that's it. Love, the language of love, crosses all borders. How creepy was it to scramble around those tunnels filming Graveyard Rats? Pretty damn creepy. Actually, it wasn't. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. That is the classic example of pretending for a living. I had so much fun doing it. But strangely enough, I was in physio today because however many months later, I think we wrapped in February, my shoulders are still an absolute mess. And the guy was laughing about, not laughing, but he was sort of pointing out that he was going to watch the show to see how I damaged my shoulders so he can help me out in fixing them. But man, he did some cool stuff today. He's had his thumb in there and was pushing the shoulders in places. And I'm like, oh my God, is it supposed to hurt? And he's like, yes, it's supposed to hurt. I was like, okay, it's working. But it was amazing. He's giving me some exercises to do and I got to do that and all that kind of stuff. Hey, first time chat, Delco42, welcome. Everybody welcome Delco42 to the chat. Howdy all. Reminds me of that Hallmark movie I just did where I got to wear a cowboy hat. Rowan, you like C. Good. Thank you for watching it. It's a hard grind, C. I mean, there's a lot of seasons to get through, and there's a lot going on, so I appreciate that. I definitely think I had one of the funnest characters to play, though. I mean, other than the Queen, Tormata is really tomato. Let's blow the whole thing up. I loved it. Gimpy G, I'll talk to you in a sec. I'm just saying hi. You missed an $8 donate. What was an $8 donation? Did I get an $8 donation? Someone donated what is it, Elon Musk? I missed an $8 donation. Where would I see that? I don't see $8 donations anywhere. Is that something I would scroll up and see? Where would that be? I got a subscription. I don't see any. Where does the $8 come in? Cal, don't give up on me. Hey, look, it's a drunk bonehead. There better be at least some rum in that mug. I wish. My rum days are over. My God. I drank too much rum in Jamaica, and I have never been able to do rum ever since. Oof. I'll take a good scotch, but of course, even that stuff I've sort of been laying off too. But anyways, whatever. So wait a second. 800 bits from Deepak OP is really? Well, thank you very much. 800 for those 800 bits, Deepak OP. Luckily, Cal was here to do the money transfer input, whatever the hell it is. So wait a sec. So those glowing little sphere things, not sphere things, those little pyramid things, that's money. Well, look, thank you very much, Deepak. I appreciate it very much. I've never gotten sick from drinking. Really? Oh, I have. Okay, 1 bit equals point zero, so 1 cent. So the 800 bits was the. I see. I don't have to do that math every time. Rum is harsh hangover. Well, it depends because rum usually goes with those sweet drinks that makes me horribly sick. The Nick says I drank too much rum, couldn't drink it for a year after that, but like it again now. Oh, good. So you got back on it again. Well done. Well done. I can't. I think I got sick drinking eggnog and rum once. It was just, oh god, it's wretched. Sci-fi triangle things. That's what it is. Gimpy G. Thank you. David's trying to throw me off of the tech banditry times. Yeah, Wolf Pup, totally. I will shake it. I will shake you. No, it was just I was a bit late home, and I'm not even sure this is officially a Tech Bandits, but I just wanted to stream. Damn it, that's all. Damn it, it's so wrong. It's so wrong to want to talk to the world. How do I raise my subscription? Honestly, I don't know what that means. Isn't a subscription just a subscription? Well, thank you. I think you've done enough, K McCabe. That's very good. I'm sure if you're subscribed, that's much appreciated. You know, if you want to help out, there is a Patreon page which I gratefully accept for I don't know for the stuff that comes up, for things that things like buying Wolf Pup the subscription to the Mark Rober thing. Which, by the way, I watched Mark Rober's latest video of the squirrel maze thing, which was fantastic. The subscription have tiers, so you can raise it to tier 3. Twitch takes so much of the money, though. Patreon lets creators have so much more. Okay, so we should be doing Patreon, is what you're saying? Thank you, Cal. And also obviously check out to Gimpy G, who managed to burn his house down and has really been struggling with the insurance companies and stuff to get this stuff sorted out, and he needs some serious wheels. He ain't got any wheels right now, so we got to get him a truck. So if you want to help out there, that would also be much appreciated. So Patreon's a great tool for creators and creatives. I love it, Brian Horn. I love it. I think that the Patreon model is fantastic. I feel like I always feel guilty because I never seem to follow up the way I plan on these things, even though I'd like to. But I feel like my drive is always to get back online. I feel like I want to be here so that because people subscribe, I feel like I should be here as much as I can. Like when I'm available, I feel like I should be here as much as I can. Because people are subscribing. So I just watched The Cube. Wow, so crazy when I recognize you. Did you like the movie? I loved Cube. I love everything Vincenzo does. Vincenzo just makes great movies. Even if you don't like the movie, you gotta love the way he makes the movies. I talked to him. He's on my YouTube channel. You can see me chatting to him about the Graveyard Rats thing that we did together. But we literally got. I mean, he'd started a little bit before I had, but he was 13 or 14 when he started making movies as a kid, and he roped me in around 15, and we've worked together ever since. I just love it. I love it. I think he's an absolute genius. I think he's like, I would say Canada's Guillermo del Toro, but I mean, I don't think he's limited to Canada. I think he's just another wonderful, magical creating, wonderful human being. Lovely guy. Sorry, I'm a bit tired, so I'm not going to make much sense. No way is David and Cube. I haven't seen that film since I was a child. Yes, child. Need to watch it again. Oh, thanks for making me feel really old. From 1902. I got into a van with one of my co-stars on this latest Hallmark movie thing. And she later confessed that she used to watch Stargate with her dad when she was growing up. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, I am literally the old man in the van now. Hey, old man in the van. That's what you could be, Gimpy G, once you get that van paid for. Okay, he's in the cube. Yeah. There is no way out of here. That guy. The grumpy guy, of course. What else? The grumpy guy who doesn't want to be there and who begrudgingly helps people. You can tell I made a career out of it. I made a career out of being a coward. Is there free candy? Wow, that'd be good. There should be free candy for sure. Okay, let me drag in some people into Discord. Help me out here. Help me out. Pop. Let me see. I think I've turned my headphones off. Nope, I turned it back on again. Doo-doo.
Hello?
Hey, how are you, Pop?
I'm doing good.
I've got some very exciting news that you might like.
What's the news?
Oh, yeah, I think you're going to like this. I don't know if you know, but the other day I did a course on the weekend, which was a personal security course where I learned how to break out of handcuffs and duct tape and to if someone attacked me in an elevator, how I would protect myself and that kind of stuff. It's really cool little thing. Like nothing fancy, just like how it's done. If that makes sense, like just basically the idea is like you avoid trouble at all costs until you can't avoid trouble, and their motto is something like you avoid everything until there's no other alternative than to go through it. So if you're faced with a situation where you think you could die, how do you protect yourself? And I didn't realize it was sort of as complicated as it is, but when they start talking about this, some really interesting things that come up. Anyways, this guy Boris and Ace were fantastic, and I was a bit scared because it was kind of like out of my. I don't like all that physical stuff, people pushing people around, and all that kind of stuff. So we had to practice all this stuff. So I did this weekend course. It was fantastic, and he is a fellow nerd. As it turns out, actually watches Stargate as well. And Boris has this book called Negative Space: A Guide to Personal Security, which I've also got. But he teaches like the military how to defend themselves and how to get out of like hostage situations and all that kind of stuff. Well, he's coming in next week. He's coming to the house next week with all of his lock picking and covert entry stuff, and he's going to talk to us about that stuff. So
I thought you were gonna say that he's gonna try to break in.
maybe I should. You know what? He could break in. No, that guy could break in a sec. I bet you that guy could break in anywhere. I think he used to be like a locksmith or something. Anyways, he's got this fantastic company called. Well, I'll find out what the company's called. North Tradecraft. What is it called? It's called True North Tradecraft. I should put him in, shouldn't I? Anyways, because he does these classes. They are really really cool. Cal, ha! She just pays rent in Snuggles. Aw, who's that? Who pays rent? Tell it to pay rent before it can claim furniture. What the heck are they talking about? My cat stole my stream watch. Oh no. Are we talking about cats? That's terrible. Seconding a dog's breakfast. I really want to make another dog's breakfast. We couldn't make a sequel because there's too many people involved. I don't want involved. But on the behind the scenes stuff. But man, that would be so much fun to revisit now as an old Patrick. Oh my God, The Dog's Breakfast, great movie. It really was. I really enjoyed that movie. That movie was so much fun to make. Yeah, it was a joy. Okay, let me look this guy up. So it's True North Tradecraft.ca. I think that's right. Let me just check this out. Check it out. Control C. Anyways, wouldn't that be cool to learn how to pick locks? I just think that'd be like, pick locks and defend yourselves in a crazy situation. Yeah, this is it. Okay, here you go. All right. There may even be pictures. I don't know if there's pictures of me on the site yet or not, but I was, it was me and this amazing guy, Eric, who played Eric the Viking on Vikings. Wonderful, like absolutely. He's like my opposite. He's tall, handsome, fit, and a lovely guy. And I'm, short, fat, balding, and grumpy. So it was really fun. Turning Rodney into a weapon. This is the thing. So you're just learning how to get away, basically. So it's perfect. It's like coward training for me. Basically, how to avoid the situation in the first place, because that's the most important thing, is avoiding the situation if you can. And then the next thing is to just run away. Don't try to hurt people unless you absolutely have to. And in this situation, they're saying, like, if you absolutely have to, here's how to hurt them, and how to hurt them really badly.
Yeah, saying is kick them in the balls and run.
Well, that's the funny thing. So that would have been my thought too. No, not the case. Because if the guy's like, tweaked on some kind of crazy drug thing, you can kick him in the balls all you want. It doesn't make a difference. And some people, that'll fell him in a second. And the other people will just go like, whatever, I'll deal with it later. You know what I mean? So this was, there was a lot of things. The eyes, very good to go for the eyes, because obviously if they can't see you, it's very hard for them to hurt you. But if you can take out their knees, their ankles, that kind of
Then
stuff.
they can't run and stuff.
Exactly. So the idea is to turn them into a puddle of flesh so that they have no way to follow you when you then leave. The other thing, which I thought was really cool thing that I'd never thought of, was, okay, if someone comes at you, my instinct is to go like, okay, we're going to have a fight. Oh, crap. My little fists are going to come up. Well, they're like, no. Because when they show you the CCTV footage, when they sue you because you beat them up in an elevator, right? Your response should be like this. Your hands should be up. as if you were like, hey, because your point is to try to, like, if you don't have to hurt them, you don't want to hurt them. But the idea is that he's saying that they don't teach any sort of legality stuff, but basically his point is like, you got to remember that, these people, will do anything. If they're there to destroy you, they will do anything they can. If that means if you break their leg because they're trying to kill you in an elevator, and then they claim that you were having an altercation of some sort. So it's even just like how it's perceived. But the main thing is, how do you get the person down in the most efficient, simple way, and then get the hell out of there? That's the plan. Assume they're trying to kill you, act accordingly. That's exactly K McCabe. That is exactly it. Hello, Mr. Hewlett. I love you. Oh, well, I'm just blushing now. Thank you, Ace Wolfie. Hey, look, it's Ace Wolfie. We got Wolf Pup, Vibe Pup, Ace Wolfie. We got to definitely, it's like we're like a pack. We're like a pack here. Parklight. David, how's the audition website? I'm guessing audition website. Really, really good, Parklight. I haven't touched it since last we spoke. I've discovered the importance of just saying no to certain things that I want to do because I just don't have time to do them. So I feel it's more important to be here chatting with you than it is to be trying to start new websites. Apparently I'm awesome, according to Porky Slayer. Pork Slayer 1990. I just keep thinking bacon. Welcome. Redeemed highlight message. What does that mean? So you can pay for highlighted messages? Is that how that works?
No, you get it automatically.
Oh, you do? Okay, all right. Good evening. What did you think about doing the AI Atlantis read-through? I was so happy seeing Rodney and Carson again. It was nice, wasn't it? That is... God, it's purple on... I can't read the damn... that's something else they should do. They should make these freaking chats, more accessible to people with crappy eyesight like mine. It says... It's Mandy2462. It was... Oh, God, it's always... I love seeing those. I love seeing them all. It's just they're just like the Atlantis folks are just absolutely like lovely. So the AI thing was a wonderful excuse for it. Also, I got a new best friend out of it, right? So I've got Lawrence and Lance and I have been chatting about all sorts of stuff using AI for assistive stuff, and I'm hoping that Lawrence and I'll be able to do a little podcast where we're going to talk about sort of AI and sci-fi and stuff. So I think that would be fun too, and I'm sure Lance will join us for that as well. Is Lance here, by the way? Is Lance shown up in our chat yet? Have we seen him yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Because if he's here, I just want to make sure I'm ignoring him on purpose as opposed to by accident. So I have another little announcement to make. What do you think of this? A podcast with the producer of C, Joe Stretch. I don't never know how to say his name, but Joe. So Joe and I are going to do a podcast called, if I got this right, Super Fun Geek World. Isn't that a great name? Doesn't it make you just happy?
Super Fun Geek World.
Super Fun Geek World. Isn't that just like? Doesn't that make you? Doesn't it just? It almost makes me smile just saying it. Super Fun Geek World. Isn't that great?
It's a fun word.
Oh, good. Okay, good. And the idea is this: all technology, by definition, is assistive, right? Like we use technology. Technology back in the day would have been a pointy stick to stab people, right? You know what I mean? Oh, we need to get better at stabbing bad people who are coming to take my food. Well, I'm going to make this stick pointy, and I'll use that. That's technology. That is enhancing your abilities as a human to do something, right? Or I make a straw out of something to suck ants out of a, to eat those when I look back, I'm talking not now so much, but, the point being is all technology is assistive. So we could talk about all technology and it's an assistive podcast. That's our hope because Joe is blind. Joe lost his vision in his teens, I believe, but we'll have to check in with him. But he's also a big geek. He also loves technology. He's also a freaking genius because he's just at pulling people together in teams, and the fact that he got C, that he made C so sort of inspiring to people with low vision or no vision. It's just, he's fabulous. So anyway, we enjoy geeking out, and I thought, let's just record them. And then we were trying to come up with names, and I was like, well, we should have a name that we can get a domain name for, right? So I was like, okay, let's look up like geek and see what's available. And one of the names that came up was Super Geek Fun World. No, Super Fun Geek World. God, I gotta get that right. Super Fun Geek World. SFGW. So the hope is that we've recorded one. I just recorded our Zoom chat, and I thought we'll start really rough. and I'll put them out, and I'll see what people think. And I think what we'll do is put them out as a podcast on YouTube, because YouTube is now doing podcasts as well. So, oh, and I got to talk to you, Vibe Pup. I missed a bunch of your chats in Discord, I confess. But you're saying you could almost start making money on Twitch, right?
Not exactly.
Not exactly? Would you get banned or something? What happened?
Well, I have to be 18.
What? You got to be 18 to make money?
Yeah.
But Baz is at a job right now at a comic book store, and he's only 15.
On this year, I have to be 15.
Oh. Well, could your parents have it?
I don't know. I asked.
I mean, generally, parents don't have a problem with people giving them money. Although it is complicated because you can't set up a PayPal account. Like Baz set up we set up a PayPal account for Baz, and we linked up all of his, his banks and stuff. And then of course we went, oh crap, he's not allowed to, right? So we had to cancel it, but we couldn't cancel it. And there was and he had money in it, right? Because people were subscribing to his channel. So we had to take the money out, and there was no way to get the money out without closing the account and doing this. It was a freaking nightmare. So I would definitely do it in a parent's name if you can, at least to start. That'd be my advice on that. Oh my God, how do you do that? Because I'm having trouble doing that. LOL. Doing what? Eva Maferi. I'm so late. No, you're not late, Eva Maferi. I'm late. I only started at 4 o'clock. I've only been live for minutes.
40 minutes.
40?
40 already?
Yeah, if you started at 4.
Shut the front door. Seriously?
Oh, hi, by the way.
No. It can't be. I don't believe it. It's not Noodle the raccoon.
'Tis I.
Noodles!
Hi.
And Gimpy G.
I was waiting for Noodles to come in.
Noodles,
now I
Noodles
can
always
talk.
gets all the glory, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You know me. Fame,
Swanning
fortune.
in. That's it. Swanning in, taking all the spotlight.
Fame, fortune.
So how are things? What's up? What are you doing? What's how's it hanging?
Pretty good. It's hanging. I'm surviving. I'm not dead, so that's definitely
That's
a
cool.
good thing. It's pretty
Really?
good.
You start
That's a
with
plus.
I'm not dead.
Well, I feel like that's very I feel like that's a very good baseline to have, I think.
I feel like you should set your goals a little higher than just surviving, shouldn't you? Isn't that?
I mean, fair enough, but I haven't failed any tests,
Oh, well, that's good.
That's great.
And your parents would
Yeah.
kill you if you did. So yeah.
I don't think they would, no.
Wait a sec. Elizabeth with a Z is saying that that Fluffy the cat is in chat, but Fluffy the cat is not in chat. So I don't know where Fluffy the chat.
Fluffy is in the chat in Twitch, and not in Discord.
Not in Discord.
He just said that he's late.
Ah, I see. Nobody's late. There is no late. I'm late. I can sort of move my arms a little better. Oh no, they're tightening up again. But you should have seen this guy was doing this amazing stuff on my shoulders, and it's just really, well, it did help, and now I can't move it all again. But anyway,
What happened to your arms?
I crawled through a graveyard
Oh, nice.
for a month. I did a thing.
Did you see that, Noodles?
Doodles doesn't want to see it.
No, she's got to see it. Noodles, he was in a show where it's like monster rats and
Ooh.
zombies or undead creatures.
Oh, is that
Super
what that
cool.
was?
Yeah, that's what that was. That's
yeah.
that's what maimed me.
The
Graveyard rats.
where you went to some kind of like there was pictures of them or whatever.
They were
Yeah, he went into
motion
the
pictures.
bowels of the earth.
I did. Yeah, that's
Ah.
true. Yes, you probably saw me cowering beside a giant rat head on Netflix.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what it said,
See, I know things.
Yeah.
I
you
I
forget
pay
them very
attention
quickly.
sometimes.
So tell us.
Wait, I got something for chat.
All right, what do you got?
Chat, here's a little insider info.
Mhm.
Behind the scenes Hollywood, they based that labyrinthine tunnel system off of a colonoscopy David got about 8 months ago.
Yeah, it's true.
Or maybe a year.
My torturous colon. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, the torturous colon, yeah.
That's it. Well, what's funny is they really were intestinal. Like they did look like. So sorry, Noodle. So you know what we're talking about. There's in the film, in the short film thing, episode, whatever they call it. There's I'm underground crawling through tunnels a lot.
Right.
Thus, I screwed up my shoulders. But because I went in today to talk to the physiotherapist. They said, what happened? I said, well, I overacted and I hurt my shoulders. But so I was crawling through these fake tunnels, but the fake tunnels are all made out of foam and stuff, like not like like hardened foam.
Yeah. Okay.
But they look like the entrails of of some dead animal. Like it's just they're kind of creepy.
With roots and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you on purpose poke your eye, or was that an accident?
No, that was written in the script. That's acting, my friend. That is acting. Yeah.
How dare you
Everybody's
suggest
after
such a thing?
eyeballs. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
That was This of course the funny thing is that how do you act being stabbed in the eye? Well, in my case, you basically stab
yourself in the eye.
Basically, that's like someone said, like, how did you do the rats on your face? I said, well, they put rats on my face. And they're like, yeah, but was there like glass, or how did they like? It looked like they were on your face. I was like, because they were on my face. They're like, wait a second. So you acted at rats on your face by putting rats on your face? I was like, yes. Welcome to the magic of Hollywood.
Yeah, I feel like
yeah. Go ahead.
people, people nowadays expecting all those fancy stuff. No.
Yeah. Nope. Just throw me the rats. I got the scene.
Throw me the rats.
That's it.
Like, David, I gotta be quite honest with you. I don't think this was the best take. I think we're gonna have to put more rats on your face.
Oh no, they did it a couple takes for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
And I like rats too. I mean, I do like. I've always thought rats were kind of smart and kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you something. They pee everywhere, and then they get kind of smelly. They get kind of smelly, and I just couldn't.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna say they peed on your face, and I was gonna be like,
probably.
Oh, there was
Probably.
that. Yeah, there was pee. There was some horrible poos.
Oh,
I was like, did you feed this thing like curry or something last night? It was like, oh god, it was awful. Yeah. So
pork and beans. Yeah.
Honestly, if you can do it properly, why bother with CGI? I saved them a fortune. They should have paid me extra for doing my own effects. It's true. I think the funniest part of shooting that for me, that moment where I went like, maybe Vincenzo just doesn't like me, was when he was hanging me from cables, and he had stuntmen dressed in green outfits, like green screen outfits, and they had brooms that had been wrapped in green fabric, and they would just spin me and hit me with the brooms, and I was like, I'm a freaking pinata. What? How does this part of the movie? But if you see the movie, you'll see when I fall. There's a couple of scenes where I fall.
Oh, okay.
And as I'm falling, I'm supposed to hit things. So they were hitting me with these brooms. But if you see the footage of it, it's the most ridiculous thing. This poor man, me, and these giant mutton chop, sideburns getting hit by brooms.
Oh, they were magnificent.
And I'll tell you, those stunt guys, they're like, you want me to hit him? I'll hit him. So no, they were fantastic. That is exactly what I would do to you on set. Sounds glorious. And
maybe I should get a job as a stunt person.
Now everybody wants to be in the film industry, hitting me with brooms.
So. You should be a broom smacker of David.
Yeah.
Oh god, no, I don't want to be in the film industry, but I just want to show up randomly and whack people with brooms.
But it is really weird. It's a Hewlett pinata, and I mean, you hit me hard enough, and I'm just gonna burst.
Squeals pop out.
Well, because it's free lunch, right? That's the other thing is, you gotta eat as much as you can because it's free. So I can't believe they pooped and peed on
philosophy.
you. Yeah, Captain Catherine. Rats do that, especially when they're under duress, and they were as nice as they could be, but. Rats aren't meant to be picked up and hurled onto people's faces. I mean, that's just not what they're supposed to, right? I mean, and especially.
I don't think anything's really meant to be picked up and hurled onto someone's face.
Well, it seems I am. I'm meant to be picked up and hurled around. It seems perfect. Oh, another. How do people get the highlighted chat? How does that work?
I think it's like a thing, like the points or the bits or whatever.
You pay bits.
Yeah, you get points for watching you. And then
I'd give you points for that.
Back in for highlights.
You have infinite points. You can do whatever you want.
As an actor, would Big say you are? As an actor, how big
of an actor are you?
Like, would it be B list, etc.? I think it's more like D, isn't it? I'm more like a D list celebrity.
I really don't know what in terms. I think you're
actor from.
You know what I say personally? I think you are well known enough by some people that it's nice.
At this
Would
point,
you
it's now
say?
sympathetic. Now it's now like, oh, it's that old guy who used to do films. That's who I am now. You know.
Well, I'd say personally, I mean, like, there's definitely people you've been recognized before, right?
Yeah. What's it? D-list like Kathy Griffin? You think she's D-list? Isn't she like?
That's what she says.
She's up there, isn't she? Oh, she says she's D-list?
No.
Oh.
No, she's not up there. She's barely known by like.
Everyone's like, no, you're not a D-list.
Yeah.
You're definitely a C-list. You know.
You're a C or a B. I
Here's
think
the
you're
thing.
a B. I think you're an A, and I think this guy was talking about your finger size and not your,
That's it. My hat size.
how big of an actor you are.
This is the thing. I think she called her show the D-list. Oh, I see. You're on our list. Hey, Dr. N, PhD. When are we?
Yeah.
We got.
I mean, I feel like you've done enough things for people to know. Some people know who you are. I think that's pretty good. But you can still go to the store.
You know what I would call? I would say semi-celebrity. How about that? Does that work? It's hard. It's hard because
How about you could be a notable? You could be a notable figure.
Oh, notable figure. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I was?
Why?
In order
That's
to get
good one, Doodles.
in order to
Thank
get
you.
into the States, I had to be an alien with exceptional abilities. How
Huh.
about that? That literally, when I applied for my green card, you're applying with as an alien with exceptional abilities. I was like, this is so cool.
Wow.
I'm an alien.
What was your ability?
I could be hit by brooms. Obviously.
Oh, I see.
I'm a piñata, for God's sake. I'm like, my superpower is that I'm a human piñata.
Ah, that's a pretty cool superpower.
Isn't it? You know?
It's better than what there's some superpower I saw. I think it was like some DC Marvel like obscure comic character who their power was literally can take off arms.
Oh yeah, wasn't that one of the Suicide Squad guys?
Yeah.
Maybe. But I just thought that sounds like the most useless superpower ever.
I think that was kind of the point, wasn't it? There was
Nope.
No.
That's not true.
Uh-oh.
I've been looking for David because I want him to be an A-list Uber star. So I'm hitting up James Gunn.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for obscure DC heroes.
Really
and there's
obscure.
one who welds dogs to things. He just welds dogs to stuff. And that's
I've always wanted to learn how to.
We had a conversation about this. I've
always wanted to weld. I'll give you that. And certainly my dog, I would be happily weld her to many things. So that's interesting though, because the superhero thing. There's an amazing show. If anyone hasn't seen this, actually, Lance, I'm sure you would love this show. It's called the Misfits, or just Misfits, and it's a British
Misfits of Science or just Misfits.
Nope, just Misfits, and it's a British show about a bunch of kids who are
gasp.
What?
I'm kidding.
What? Noodles.
British people.
Noodles is just cracking herself up. No, it's like these British kids who are in trouble, who like basically they're on like parole, like whatever it's called, like kid parole. What's kid parole? What's it called?
Kid parole. That's what it's called.
It's called something. Is it like delinquency or something? I don't know. Anyway,
Probably.
Okay, so
I don't really know what it's called though.
Gotta watch this show, because what happens is there are these kids, and then suddenly the world gets this crazy storm in London, and everyone gets struck by lightning, and after that they all have superpowers, but they have the weirdest superpowers.
Oh, I love that kind of concept.
Okay.
So one person, like this amazing villain in like, I don't know if it's season 1 or 2. There's an amazing villain, and you know what their superpower is?
What?
Flatulence?
Lactose.
No.
He can control milk.
Lactose.
He can control
Well,
milk.
no, but I still no. But here's the thing. I still think that's better than the arms thing. Because point in case, if you take off your arms, how are you supposed to use your arms?
I believe he could like make them fly and grab stuff.
No. I think I might be thinking of someone different, because there's a character who can detach his arms, and that's it.
Well, it'd be good for escaping. Like if I was trapped in those handcuffs, I wouldn't have to pick the handcuffs like I did last week.
But yeah, but then you wouldn't have any arms.
I mean, taking off I feel like my arms are coming off anyways. Like I feel like I could probably pull one of my arms off pretty quickly and hit someone with it.
I don't know. I just feel like the only use, and then there's something where it's like it's a weapon for like the teammates. I'm like, so he just stands there and without arms?
what if somebody approaches David and threatens to beat him up? All of a sudden, David says, "Hey," and then his arms pop off and hit the ground. That guy's going to think twice about smacking
that guy is
you.
not going to attack.
That's fair. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. What is that superhero called though?
Magic.
I'm gonna go look.
Like a lizard.
Magic.
If you could create lots of little arms, that'd be amazing. Like if you could be like,
yeah,
pop one off, throw it at someone, pop, throw the next one. Hello, who we got? Is that Fluffy the cat?
Fluffy cat.
Hey,
Yes,
Fluffy the cat. You haven't met Noodle the raccoon.
Oh.
Noodle the raccoon is a famous old school tech bandit.
From
hundreds of years ago.
Oh God! Yeah. Wait, no, that's awful. Oh,
it is. It's like a year or something, isn't it? Like how many years ago?
Oh no, I've been in Tech Bandits technically since 4th grade, so it's been 5 years.
Holy crap! I mean, crap. Am I allowed to say that crap? Is crap a bad word?
You're allowed to say crap.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm allowed to say what I want. This is my stream.
Oh God!
Hey, did you hear about my podcast name? Super Fun Geek World. Super Fun Geek World. Isn't that? That just makes me happy.
I like that. I like
Super Fun Geek World. I could see that on a T-shirt. I can see that on, I can see that on a list of podcasts somehow. So, anyways. Yeah. I'll miss.
Okay, this is who you play, David. Are you ready?
What do you got?
This was an old school golden era of DC, and he worked with Batman and all these other guys back in the day.
Yeah.
Detective Chimp. He was a chimp with super detective abilities.
Great.
I love that.
I'm back with my son used to say, people used to ask what his dad did, and my son back when he was a kid would say he works with monkeys because I was doing Planet of the Apes at the time, and I was like, well, he's not entirely wrong. I mean, that's kind of, a lot of
I feel that. Well, here's the thing. I don't know. I just something about the arm. I'm still thinking about this arm guy. Something about the arm guy. It's not like, maybe it's not that. I just feel like it's not.
He's called the detachable
weird
kid.
enough. It's not weird enough to be like fun. I feel like that doesn't make a very fun concept.
No, he didn't look like he was having fun. So Nathan Fillion is the guy who played the role, and he was called the detachable kid.
Oh, I love Nathan Fillion.
I love him
too.
I
think.
Yeah, I love him. I love him too. I mean, man, Firefly, so cool. He was the coolest.
I love Firefly.
It was the Suicide Squad. That's true. Yeah, Suicide Squad. All right,
David, I have another one real quick.
Yeah.
Man-eater lad, or no, matter-eater lad. Now, of course, you're not a lad.
I feel like matter.
No, matter-eater lad.
Matter-eater
Okay.
lad.
Now, of course, you're beyond the lad stage. So we'll call it Old Man Matter Eater, right? Old Man Matter Eater. This superhero can eat all matter. It doesn't matter. He actually ate an entire gas station.
The power to eat.
To help people.
If only I could
So
use the power
my
to
question
eat.
for you though is, can he use the matter in some other way, or is it just gone?
I think he just makes dookie out of it. I don't know.
But is that not special powers of any sort? Like, there's no, like, he can't.
Well, apparently he's got good chompers.
His ability is just
you can just eat steel.
Things. Oh, he has an unrequited crush on Shrinking Violet, which features for the bulk of the Legion's run in Adventure Comics. You know what's funny? I have a bunch of Adventure Comics. He might even be
unrequited love.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are you on? Oh, did you look up Man Eater or Matter Eater lad?
Yeah, Matter Eater lad. I'm looking him up right now. Yep.
It says he was referenced in an episode of Peacemaker, so you already have an in. Because that was a James Gunn thing too.
Yeah.
I want you to be a good guy. You keep being bad guys.
Oh, bad guys
and I think you'd be an excellent good guy.
Bad guys are the best.
That's true.
Bad guys are so much
fun
to play.
Really
villains are so much fun to play.
Here we go. Matter Eater lad. Here we go.
Listen, no one likes villains in real life, but in books they're always the best.
Here you go. That's Matter Eater lad right there in the corner.
So most of the times the villains are more interesting.
I think so. I love villains. I always played villains. I mean, that was when I first started. All I played was villains, and now as I get older, I play like pathetic villains. Now I play like, I'll get you. If I would have got away with it if it wasn't for those darn kids. That's basically
meddling kids.
Yeah, meddling kids. Whatever. Noodles.
Yeah. As a semi Scooby-Doo fan as a child.
Are you a big Scooby-Doo? Really? Scooby-Doo was never really my thing. It was never my.
I love Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Here's the thing. I can't claim to be like a super fan because I only watched like the series of movies they did, the like newer ones.
Yeah.
But I still really like them, so that has to count for something, I feel.
I mean, I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons included Scooby-Doo, and I was quite liked it. But they were too hippie for me. I liked more high-tech stuff at the time.
I see.
You know, or severely flawed anti-hero. That's me.
Anti-heroes or morally gray characters. So good.
True.
So good.
That's basically what I do now. Just weak.
But and then they have motives you can agree with, but then you don't agree with their actions. So
Kylo Ren was just like a grumpy teenager. I never understood Kylo Ren at all. I was like, why is he so grumpy? Why is he?
That's because he changed for each movie into something else.
Yeah, I didn't.
Nobody knew it was going to go on.
I kind of stopped. I don't really watch any of that stuff anymore. I've started watching The White Lotus again, the second season of White Lotus, which is just about
what's that?
Evil, self-indulgent, rich people, basically.
Ooh, fun.
It's fun. It's really fun.
So it's also the name of the organization in Avatar: The Last Airbender that all the old people are a part of.
Dun dun dun. Airbender. I see. Again, that was a show that I've heard is fantastic. I never really got into it.
Oh, it's so good.
Kylo the Grumpy. It's true. Kylo the Grumpy. It's so true. Absolutely.
I every time I say this, someone gets mad at me, but I have never watched Star Wars.
That's fine.
Why are you here? You gotta watch. You gotta watch Star Wars. I mean, at least watch the first.
It's
the
on
first
my
three.
list.
You know what? I don't think you'll. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think it's gonna hold up for you. What do you watch now? Are you watching
1 and 2 would, or 4 and 5?
Oh, well, I'd want to watch the first
The 1970s ones were kind of fun.
You know what? It's on my list. I will eventually watch the originals for the sake of watching the original Star Wars because it's like a classic.
I feel like it's almost like you have to watch it.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those like
you have to watch Jaws.
Come on, you haven't watched. You know, it might just because I don't think my mom likes Star Wars that much. So I don't know.
No,
some people as a kid, they really got into it as a kid, right?
That would do it. I mean, look, the funny thing was I loved Star Wars. Loved it. The first 3 movies, there was nothing cooler to me than those first 3 movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the first one, you still can't. I mean, you could beat the first one for me. But again, I was also of an age when it made more sense to me. Like it was, I feel like I'm jaded and old now.
When did you see it? Like, did you see it in the theater?
Yeah.
Like I did?
Yeah.
I had to be carried because I didn't have a wheelchair at the time.
So
I was still disabled, but little enough that everybody just toted me around, and there was a line all the way around the block.
You were that? Wait a sec. No, we're the same age. You would have been like 10.
No, 77?
Yeah.
I was like...
Was it 10 or 11? Something like that?
Well, I was born in December of 69.
So you're a year. So you're a year younger than I am. Okay, all right.
Yeah, a year and something.
Yeah, that very important year, I might add. There's a thing here. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is new news or whether it's same old technology being changed. But I should show you this, Lance. This is it's an implant that turns brainwaves into words. It's a brain-computer
interface. Turn what into words?
Yeah, it's a brain-computer interface that deciphers commands intended for the vocal tract. So in other words, you think about speaking, and then it'll convert that into text for you.
That was like Tommy Knockers. Have you ever read that book?
No. Did they have that technology?
Yeah.
What was the technology?
Tommy Knockers.
I'll put the link in.
It can change your thoughts into words on type them out in a computer.
That could be.
Oh God, that's terrifying.
That's kind of scary, isn't it? Could you imagine talk about mistypes? Oops.
I hate that. So, well, I mean, personally, I wouldn't like that.
It turns waves into words. So it's basically doing what I said, hijacking the brain and saying,
but I don't know. I feel like, here's the thing. When I talk to someone, I'm not just thinking about talking to them. Do you know how many random thoughts there are in my head?
Yeah, but you're not speaking them though, right? The point is that it's hijacking only the parts that you want to speak, right? So if you can't speak, but you think about speaking,
right?
It's gonna hijack that, not the thoughts in your head. It has to be a physical. I think it's a physical or electromagnetic. Like you're actually trying to move something. So that signal is being sent. Remember when we were,
Oh, I see. It's not just like it goes into my head and is like, I can see your thoughts.
Yet.
Yeah, right.
Yet.
Right.
Okay, although they're getting close to that. Remember,
I think honestly that might be the one line with privacy I might never cross. I don't.
Well, remember back in the early dark ages of TechBandits. Remember when the dinosaurs roamed the world, and I brought that brain computer interface in that we put on our head, and you could.
Oh,
like,
so yeah.
Yeah. So remember, people would like pretend to scream, but they wouldn't scream. Just in their head.
Yeah, no, we figured that out.
So if you pretended to scream in your head, you would see the signals all.
The signal got more rapid.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
So imagine if you could get those little electrodes right
Oh,
into the brain.
Wait, we've talked about something like when we had that, we talked about something like that where we were like, what if this was more precise?
Yes, exactly. And in some cases,
I see.
In some cases, they've got a series of signals that they can pick up from the brain, from the scalp, and they can show people pictures. Okay, they show people a series of pictures, and then they record the brain waves of you looking at those pictures, and then when they show you the pictures again, they can tell you what picture you're looking at just by the brain waves.
Oh.
Like that's pretty creepy.
So something like this would be more like less of a like it knows what your brainwaves mean and more of a collected research
It's
and
like
apply.
Yeah, it's like you want to move your arm, so you tell yourself to move your arm, but your arm isn't moving. Like so, Lance is a perfect example. Lance wants to move his arm, so the signals are being sent. If I'm right, tell me if I'm right, Hewlett.
True.
But
you're right.
The signals are being sent to Lance's arm to move, but they're being ignored because there's not the muscle there to do it. So,
Right.
this would say, oh, he's moving his arm. Let's move that robotic arm for him. But now they're going even further and saying like the process of speaking. But that doesn't make sense. Would this only work on people who've already spoken before then? Yes, because it's stroke damage. I see. Okay. Anyways, I put the link in. I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna paste the link into the chat.
Could you imagine what a boon that would be for people who are like in a coma-like state, but they're actually all there intellectually?
Well, this is it. Like when I went to this school before COVID, I would go and visit this McCordick school, and there was a kid there that was completely, I don't know what the term would be, like uncommunicative, was not able to speak or engage in any way. Like she was just sitting there in her chair and nothing,
Aww.
you know, and people, they didn't know whether there was anything going on in her head until
they don't
until they put her in front of an eye gaze thing, and she would always go to YouTube to watch YouTube. And that's how they realized that she was actually processing stuff. So she's in her head. She was just unable to communicate to anybody what was going on there. So this technology allowed her to communicate, to let the world know that she was deciding to watch YouTube as her choice of I mean, it was so ridiculous. It only had two options because it was hobbled. The technology was hobbled by I don't know if that's the right word, but basically they stop it from working unless you pay $1,500 a month or whatever it is. They didn't have the money, the school system, so they were just using.
I hate everybody.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
They were using the free version, but this free version allowed them to see that she was watching YouTube, right? And of course,
my eye wants to pop out of its head.
Yeah, I'm
like, my God.
Doesn't it? I'm like,
no.
Wait a second, how is that not like? I was like, what company in the right, like, how do you create that technology and then not make it available to everybody? You know what I mean?
Right.
Every time I'm like, if I won the lottery, this is what I do. The list is ever growing.
Well, someone just won $1 billion, right? At the lottery?
2 billion.
Is it
but they
2
probably
billion?
Get $1 billion.
They'll get $1 billion. That's right, with taxes and stuff. Could you imagine that? $1 billion. I'd rather earn it.
I could.
I'd honestly rather earn it. I think I would feel so weird about having that kind of money. I think I'd feel so guilty I'd have to like donate most of it because I'd
totally donate so much of my money. There's so many things you could do with $1 billion. Like
maybe keep $1 million, like to get a nice house or something. Wait, what am I saying? 2 million.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what house are you buying like in Toronto even with 2 million?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Lego
I'm gonna have
Masukugo.
dolphins in my house. But go ahead.
Really?
No,
But
we've been over this.
No,
the
they're
dolphins are
sentient.
evil.
No, they're not evil. They're sentient. They talk to each other. They're like what? They're like.
No. Remember how we're like, are there evil
There
dolphins?
might be,
Dolphin-
but they should be allowed to be evil dolphins if they want to.
No. When I never said I'm not gonna have the evil dolphins. I'm just saying if you have dolphins in your house, they're gonna take over the world.
No, they're gonna live
Right.
in my house, and they're gonna have little switches they can do if they want to do stuff. Maybe some video games. I'm just saying.
They're gonna play video
With
games.
my $1 billion.
Well, I mean,
Dolphins are evil.
Hey, they've taught
Dolphins are evil.
a bunch of neurons how to play Pong. I imagine that there's probably some cool games that dolphins could play. $1 billion. Fluffy the cat. What would you do with $1 billion? If you got given $1 billion in a lottery, what would you do with that kind of cash? Any ideas?
I would just give it to my family.
Oh, really? The whole thing? You wouldn't save any for yourself?
I would save some.
And what? Okay,
but
so what would your family do with it? Do you think? What would they make of the money?
I don't know. I don't know what they would do with it.
Oh, you know what I would do?
What'd you do?
I would at least invest some of it.
Well, that makes sense. So you're always
And
looked after.
I feel like I would not use the money until like I would use it for like university, like buying a house, stuff like that, and I wouldn't use the money until I'm at least older if I want it right now.
If you have $1 billion, that pretty much sets you for life, I would think.
I would think so.
Yeah, unless you're really stupid.
I mean, although if you go and buy Twitter, I suppose that could be, that wastes a lot of money. I wonder
Buy
though,
Twitter
could
and
you
get
go
rid of
broke?
it. Oh, I hate Twitter.
Do you
Sorry,
think you could
I
go broke?
really don't like Twitter, so if I bought Twitter, I'd
I
probably
love it.
delete it.
I love Twitter.
Wait,
I'm
are you
gonna-
on Twitter?
I'm gonna miss it.
No,
But then how could you hate it? I love Twitter. I gotta say,
because
I love
the only honestly, I haven't. The only reason I have Instagram is because my school has a ton of accounts, and
Right.
that's the only place they tell you like any information. So.
What, your school uses Instagram to communicate with you?
Well, no, but like the clubs and the council, the student council does, and
You want to hear funny? I was out, so I when we were on location doing this last film thing, I came in one day to work, and they said, "Oh, you didn't." We tried to get in touch. We went out for dinner. We all went out for dinner last night, and we invited you to come. And I was like, "Oh," I said, "Oh, I guess did I have my phone off or something? Like I don't know how I missed it." They said, "Yeah, we messaged you." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "No, I didn't get it." And then they went, then they went, "Well, Instagram messaged you." And I was like, "Instagram has messaging?"
Oh.
I had no idea. They're all laughing at the old man who has no idea. You know what I mean?
no, I don't really like social media that much.
What is it you don't like about it?
It's just like so many. Here's the thing. It's not that there's good things about social media. There's good and bad things to like every single thing ever. You can't. It's just for me, a lot of the time, I feel like there's just so many toxic, awful people, and then they can say whatever they want, and then it just exhausts you because they're saying all these awful things, and you know it's wrong, but like, ugh.
That's so funny because
I
I
don't
didn't
go to those places.
Yeah, that wasn't my experience at all. That's so funny. Like, I mean, it's definitely getting different now. Like, I do feel like the platform does feel a little different. Like, it's, as I say, it's a little musky because it's just.
I like that.
Well, it's just like I stopped following him because I was interested in what is SpaceX, and obviously he's a very successful businessman. I was interested to know, his perspective on some stuff. And then it just started getting crazier and crazier. And I started going like, I don't know what's a joke and what's not. And I feel old and out of touch. And, so.
No, here's the thing. I'm not saying that like the internet or the entirety of social media ever is
Tony
the worst
Kursoff.
sin ever committed. No, I just feel like a lot, like, it's really easy to get like caught up in all like the toxic and like bad stuff on the internet. I just hate
we have
that.
a negative bias, right? We have, as a species, it's been proven that we have a negative bias. So in other words, if we're always looking for things that could hurt us, whether that be a physical hurt
Makes
or
sense.
a mental hurt, because that's how we survive, right? We're always looking out for what could hurt us, And on social media,
I know.
we're gonna,
That's fair.
in a list of positive comments, I will always go to the negative one.
Yeah,
now I say
that's
that.
definitely a fact. But
Cal, I'm not
I
looking
don't
at your
know.
posts. Just so you know, like you can't. That doesn't mean I'm going to go look at your post because what's that? Who is autistic?
Elon Musk.
I would spend
Musk.
money on. Is he?
I don't know, but I
Has
think
he
that's
been
what he was trying to
diagnosed?
say.
Probably not.
I feel like he's on the spectrum to some extent, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I can't say whether that really changes my opinion.
Oh, so Harklight
Nope.
Harklight says that he is autistic, that he's on the autism spectrum apparently. I heard Asperger's. Yes, Asperger's is a term I don't think we use anymore. I think it's now I think part of the autism spectrum, I believe, but I don't. I guess that also probably depends on what country you live in too. So,
I mean,
sorry,
cool.
little internet issue.
Interesting
Hopefully it won't
fact, I
happen again.
guess. I don't know. That's
Yes, Harklight says I am autistic, so that's
okay.
So Harklight may have some insight into that. See again, so
And Harklight is nice.
and
So
Yeah.
Harklight's fantastic. Harklight was helping me out with this Soliloquio website for a while. Then of course it just didn't make sense for me to spend. I just felt that the time was better spent on TechBandits than it was on actors doing auditions. Asperger's is out of the DSM. Yes, what does DSM mean? Thank you,
Definition?
Sashel1. Asperger's is out of the DSM. What does that mean? Do you know?
I don't.
Maybe Sashel1 could explain that for me. There you go. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Wow, thank you much.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And welcome, yeah. So now it is all part of the autism spectrum. I mean, the thing I'm beginning to learn, I think maybe, and I don't know whether this is my perception of it or whether this is the medical perception of it. My sense is that mental health is all a spectrum. Like, we all have anger issues. We all have depression.
Oh, God, we all have.
Yeah, and it's just different
Everyone
levels.
has mental problems.
And
Everyone
we all have
has
different
mental
levels of stuff, right? I mean, there's, so some people have a much higher, are much more, on their depression levels are higher or whatever, or lower, depending on how you put it, I guess. And other people's attention has issues. I mean, I feel like it's all just a matter of trying to sort of find that balance that works for you. So
people are really sad sometimes.
You should have been here yesterday. James R. Gurney said that a true sign of intelligence by humans would be if we destroyed ourselves, because it would be the best thing for the planet. And
he also said he would eat laboratory human meat.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You know what? I can't judge him. I would do the same. I'd do that.
Seriously, raccoon noodles? Raccoon noodles? You would eat. So if someone grew a human steak in a lab, so it's never been a human, but it's human cells that have been grown into a steak, would you eat that?
I mean, that's not like the only reason cannibalism is like wrong is because cannibalism isn't technically illegal. It's like the killing of the person that's illegal.
What?
No, so if someone volunteers like themselves,
I think cannibalism is illegal, isn't it?
It's not.
No.
Is it
Wait,
not?
Yeah, the Donner Party got in trouble for that.
As long as you get it legally, then
it's not about. I'm pretty sure
it's an iffy subject. Is
okay. No. I'm pretty sure if I'm correct, I don't think it's illegal, but I think like the fact that because like if you let someone, for example, if you said to someone, "Here's my arm, you can eat it," you're allowed to eat the arm.
God knows what this is going to do to my Google search, but I said, "Is eating humans illegal?" Here we go.
I'm pretty sure it's like the act of like, kind of like, I guess killing the person.
It says
I watched a full video made by a lawyer.
Really?
Lawyer about it. A guy, he had to get his foot cut off or something.
Eesh.
And he asked if he could keep the meat, and he had a cannibalism taco night with his friends.
Oh, that's freaking weird. So this one says eating people is wrong.
You need to get your foot cut off. Is if you have gangrene or something. So
it says eating people is wrong, but is it against the law? And apparently,
exactly.
Jose Salvador Alvarenga is accused of eating his travel companion to survive being lost at sea. If it were true, he wouldn't be the first to consume human flesh in extreme circumstances. Wow.
True.
He survived at sea for more than a year after being cast adrift by a storm, but now the family of his fellow sailor, 22-year-old Esquiel Cordoba, says the older man turned cannibal to survive. Alvarenga insists Cordoba died because he could not stomach the raw birds and turtle blood that were their only source of food, but Cordoba's family are suing the Salvadorian fishermen for $1 million for eating their relative. Wow. Man, you got to be pretty desperate to do something like that, huh?
Yeah. Too. I would be like, "Are you okay, good sir?"
I mean,
you need.
It's interesting though. Like, I mean,
I bite me.
Are we animals? Like, would we turn on each? I guess we are. We've just proven that.
I guess we are. Yeah.
We will turn on each other and eat each other if necessary. Is that the case?
Yeah, totally. That's happened so many times. Like,
interesting.
There's so many times where other people have like died, and they're like, "Yeah, we had to eat these people to survive." That's totally happened.
Bite Me, I'm Klingon says, we're talking about eating people, and I thought this was a PG chat. Well, it is. I mean, it's a debate. None of us are saying we should eat anybody. We're not saying go ahead.
No, we're not condoning it. We're just saying, well, we're wondering whether it's legal.
It's like a thought. It's a thought experiment.
It's like the evil dolphins. Don't worry. In like about 5 minutes, we're gonna probably forget about that we ever talked about it. And
just to remind people, what is the case with the evil dolphins, Noodles?
Oh, so we were theorizing whether dolphins could be evil.
Like they're always
like whether
cute.
they had the capacity. Yeah. Like, you know how there are humans that are awful people?
Yeah.
Can dolphins do that? Because they're smart.
Yeah.
True.
McKay fan says, until relatively recently, the 4 trust source people of Papua New Guinea practiced transumption trusted source. What? The ritual of eating deceased relatives. This isolated group
I've seen that.
Demonstrated the serious ramification of eating another human's brain. Kuru trusted source is an unanimously fatal transmissionable the spongy form encephalopathy. I've heard of that, the TSE.
Wait, so they're saying it's bad for you to eat people?
It's basically
their brain.
You basically get a form of mad cow disease. Their brain is the brain is the problem.
Yeah.
Did you know that I did not believe that mad cow disease was a real thing? I thought someone made it up because that doesn't sound real.
I just sent a YouTube video in the chat, and it's basically a video saying that cannibalism is legal in every state except Idaho unless you commit a crime to get the meat.
So as long as you legally obtain the body. Oh, God, that's so creepy. What is that? Law by Mike. It's a creepy looking video already. Okay, so there's a point that Harklight would like to make that is...
Yep, I was going to do that.
That autism is not a mental health condition, it is a neurological condition. What is the distinction between a mental health condition and a neurological condition?
You can't go to a psychiatrist and get better. You know what I mean? Or a psychologist.
Yeah, well, I thought we were just talking about other things such as like anxiety.
I would have thought that every... Yeah. But wait a second. So no, I pardon my ignorance on this, but wouldn't any mental health issue be a neurological issue because it's the same?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Like, how do you? I don't know how you. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that I would have thought that anything that affects the brain, anything affected by the brain, would be under it like neurological.
Different parts of the brain.
Ramstein.
I think.
Really? Ramstein has a song about looking for a friend to eat. Oh God. Autism is all of the brain, not just part of it.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Like how certain like mental health issues affect like production of like I forget the word, like serotonin.
Yeah. Well, and they've recently discovered that the serotonin inhibitors they're saying may not be like we've always thought that serotonin if we add serotonin
I have to go get my teeth filled because I have cavities.
No. How many cavities you got?
Like 2.
2 cavities. Oh,
Two small
man.
cavities. They're small. They just came.
Oh, little ones. So that shouldn't hurt too much.
So they shouldn't hurt the
It
value.
shouldn't. I don't
of
think
your
it should
teeth.
hurt at all.
Are they gonna put your teeth to sleep? Do they do that little? Do they put them to sleep first?
No, they just numb my jaw.
They
Ah.
numb.
Yeah,
Oh,
they numb
well,
it.
David.
Well, good luck
They
with
would.
that.
They would numb. Think about it this way.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. They're gonna numb like the jaw and gums. You can't really numb teeth.
Can't you? Yeah, they
No.
they put the nerves to sleep on mine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I
Fluffy
think
the
that's more
cat.
just like.
Good luck with that.
I think
good
it's
luck.
more. They can't numb.
Bye,
You're not
Fluffy.
numbing the teeth though. You're numbing the nerves connected to the teeth. So it's more like they inject. Yeah. Well, Novocaine
'Cause
into your
teeth-
jaw.
'cause
So they'll
teeth
numb your. They'll numb your gums
Yeah.
and by extension the nerves that connect to your teeth.
You know what I love about my dentist? My dentist puts stuff on my gums before, like numbs my gums before they give me the needle even.
That's common practice, I think.
Oh, is it? They never
That's
used
so
to
nice,
do that.
though.
They never used to do that. To me, they never used to do that at all. God, they used to just drill away.
But the good thing, I get a milkshake.
What?
After.
You get a sugary milkshake after? Isn't that going to make the cavities worse though?
Yeah.
Not after not after when they do my teeth.
So they'll clean your teeth.
you know
They'll
what?
give you a fillings. They'll give you 2 fillings, and then you get a milkshake. I would do that. I love milkshake.
Oh,
What's your favorite flavor milkshake, Fluffy the cat?
Chocolate.
Really? You're a
Of
chocolate?
course.
No, strawberry's the best.
Oh.
No pineapple.
Oh, pineapple, you're a weirdo. Come on. Pineapple.
You know what?
No
I can't judge.
pineapple.
I have
I can't
never had
judge.
a pineapple milkshake. I've never even heard of a pineapple milkshake.
Out of the commonly found milkshakes, I would say chocolate.
Really?
I'm not.
I haven't really had the experience to like. I've
No.
never tried
No.
pineapple milkshake. I can not naysay it.
I have to go to the distance.
All right, go.
Oh,
Have
Okay,
fun, Fluffy.
bye-bye.
I don't have to leave right now though.
Oh, I see. Okay, you're just announcing that if you leave suddenly, it'll be because you're being dragged to the dentist.
Okay, you know what? Sci-Fi gal is right. I was talking about a malted milkshake or whatever you want to call
Oh,
it.
malted milkshakes are the
Okay.
best.
I do
Malted
leave
milkshakes.
right now though.
You
I
do
need
have
to
to leave.
I need to leave. I
Oh,
need to
okay.
leave.
All right, Fluffy. Well,
Okay.
look, thanks
What
for
are
coming
malted
by. Good luck
milkshakes?
with the teeth.
Okay.
They
bye.
put.
Have fun.
Have you ever had a malted milk ball?
Oh, it's the best.
I can't say I have.
It's so good. It's
I
evil.
don't know. What is that junk?
I
It's
don't
some
know.
kind of grain
Malt. It's like
that
that.
when they powder it up,
It makes it
it's
sort of
got this
thicker,
really-
and it's got kind of a almost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want to say like it's like beer dessert. Does that make sense? There's like a
You do
slightly
beer?
like. It doesn't taste like beer, but it has like a meatiness to it like beer.
That
almost.
really helps me envision what you were
Yeah,
talking
it's-
about, since I have had lots and lots of beer as a 14-year-old.
Well,
I
that's-
think
that's
you
because
should
you've been
try
hanging
one.
out with evil dolphins. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Malt equals milkshake crack. There you go.
Yeah,
I
Yeasty,
wonder, could
yeah.
dolphins get drunk?
sure.
I would think so.
Well, like, cause,
Because
what
isn't that
does?
just basically getting poisoned? Isn't basically.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, like, can everything? Because it affects a certain part of your brain, obviously.
Oh,
but
apparent-
like,
Oh, James R. Gurney says, yes, they can get drunk. Oh, by the way, Noodles, you may not know this by now, but it's actually Dr. Professor Perfect. James
why is it Doctor?
James R.
Gurney. He's got his own evil lab now.
He
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
See, James, this is why James is my favorite.
We're gonna go visit him.
And Gimpy G, of course.
We're gonna go down for sure.
That's okay. That's okay.
Dogs get drunk and want beer. Wow, I didn't know
What?
that. Harklight does not drink. James R. Gurney says yes, and birds get drunk. Apparently.
Like, with alcohol, or is there like another way
What?
that birds
Spiders
can get drunk?
Seriously? Spiders can get drunk.
Why not?
And what do they do? Get caught in their own webs? I mean, like, what is a drunk spider? Oh, I'm looking up drunk spiders. That's probably the name of a band. Drunk spiders. That'd be actually a great name for a band, wouldn't it?
That actually sounds like a pretty.
This
cool,
is a
like,
question
band
for
name.
a bag of chips' mom. NASA gave spiders drugs. Whoa, really?
Drugs.
What?
Dang.
They did. They gave them LSD and marijuana, and they
God.
watched as the stoned bugs made deformed webs.
Whoa.
How weird is that? Of course, it's in the
Sounds
Sun.
like a fun afternoon, though.
It's in the Sun paper in England, so it's probably I don't know how much we're allowed to how good it is. Let's see if there's another better study about this. Open Spotify. What? Snopes was one of these webs spun by an LSD tripping spider. Oh, they give it caffeine too. Okay, in 1995, NASA funded research this is the claim, that tested the various toxicity levels of various drugs, including marijuana, caffeine, and sedatives to determine what effects they have on spider spinning webs. This is true, according to Snopes. While it is true that various research institutions and scientists have funded and tested the effects of drugs and substances on spiders' ability to weave webs, social media posts have interchanged photographs used in various studies. Aha! So Orb, well, I'll bring up the page so people can see it. If I can figure out how to use it. Is that Noodles? Noodles, are you still picking up radio signals?
Oh, give me a second.
I always want to know what she's doing that makes that noise.
Does she have braces? Maybe she's picking up radio on there.
Do you still have braces?
No, I got them off in like the June.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah, yay!
Baz is off.
Does it sound? How's it sound now?
Good. Sounds good.
Fine.
Wait a second. What happened to my Chrome? Where's my Chrome?
It's weird. That only ever seems to happen when I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe everyone else is just too polite to say it, but I'm like, hey.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Maneater Lab is still up, but where's my spiders? Where's my spiders? Copy. Where's Maneater Lab? Okay, let's do this one. Here we go. Paste this. Pasting and going to there. See if that will do it for you. And so bring it up for people so they can see. There you go. There you go. Was one of these spun by an LSD tripping spider? I mean, okay, where's it? I put this somewhere where it's not really in the way. Okay, this to scroll up. Okay, so apparently these are the different webs. So there's on marijuana, it's like it's like they gave up. It's like good enough. That's almost a finished one. Caffeine, holy cow. That's certainly how I feel when I'm on caffeine. And then normal, look at the meticulous. That's pretty wild. And then I guess one of those is LSD too, I guess, of some sort. Anyways, so apparently on social media, they've been switching things up, the images up a bit, right?
Yeah. But I always thought that they basically did it mindlessly. Like it was an instinct. They couldn't help but build the spider web the way they build it. But this suggests something else.
Well, I think yes and no, because it's more like, think of it this way. It is an instinct, but if their brain's all muddled, then I think the signals for the instinct are probably like off. Just like how like on instinct, on how instinct, like most people can, just kind of like run, right? But
right.
Okay.
But like if you drink alcohol, your ability to like function and like run is like compromised. That's what I would think.
Here, my question was, how did they give the spider these drugs? And here it says here that the drug was mixed in a sugar solution, which was then injected into a small fly, and a tuning fork was used, and the vibrations set up in the signal thread were to clue to the bait. So I guess they had to use a tuning fork to make it sound like a fly, like an alive fly sounds. And apparently the mixture was delicious because there was no problem getting the spider to take the bait.
I kind of was thinking a real tiny bong. This is a drag. I really had a good image going.
That was it. No, they were like, oh man, someone spiked the fly.
A really tiny cocktail.
That's it.
That's Cosby.
A little bit. That's it. No, no, it's not. All right, where are we at here? I'm gonna go. I'm trying to keep Gimpy G on track here. All right.
Yeah, Gimpy G.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's so okay. So I'm guessing. So I'm guessing that.
Yeah, but that
are there any animals that would be immune to alcohol?
What? How does it like? Because the brains of animals are obviously different than humans, right?
Abadus says that's why they don't accept flies from strangers.
Right?
They could be full of drugs. Right.
Could someone? I'm right to say that animal brains are different than like human brains and stuff. Well, I mean, we are animals, but like a pig. Well, no, pig's a bad example. Aren't pigs like really?
But they operate similarly, don't they? I mean, for the most part.
But do
Yeah,
they operate? That's what I mean. Like, do they operate similarly? Like, could they just like? I mean, like some animals can eat raw meat and not die. Does that mean they could drink tiny little cocktails and not be drunk?
We're similar at a cellular level, apparently, according to Econorax.
Does this mean that like some animals are like more susceptible to like they get more affected by drinking such alcohol, and some need like a lot of alcohol, like how humans?
James our grinning Professor Perfect is saying that hamsters are really hard to get drunk. Apparently, why would that be, James?
He doesn't.
How much alcohol do you have to get a hamster to? Hamsters always die in the most traumatic ways.
Who goes to parties with hamsters? Like, who would know that hamsters are...
Me.
So, apparently, James R. Gurney's going to parties with hamsters, and apparently they can drink them under the table.
But you don't go to parties with hamsters?
I just picture... No. I picture, like, the beginning of that,
What kind of lame parties are you going to, David?
the hamsterless parties. These rodent-less parties. I've had enough...
Oh, my God.
I've had enough
That sounds
rodents.
awful.
I don't go to rodent parties anymore. I've had a whole show about them. No, I pictured somehow, like, James R. Gurney as Indiana Jones... And that his girlfriend who runs the bar, who drinks all the Germans under the table.
Gotcha.
Except she's a hamster, right?
Wow.
Oh.
I was just imagining like Indiana Jones with James's face like poorly photoshopped on it with a hamster on his shoulder.
There you go. James has found us the article in The Atlantic that says you have no idea how hard it is to get a hamster drunk. You just put a bottle of unsweetened Everclear on the cage, and they love it. Everclear? Like, isn't that like 100% alcohol or something? The heaviest drinkers in the animal kingdom
It's like 180 proof.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so this is the heaviest drinkers in the animal kingdom are punier than you might expect. Elephants, for example, are massive, but they are relative lightweights. They lack a gene for alcohol metabolism. So it depends on whether your body can metabolize it or not. Humans actually rank pretty highly thanks to our ancestors' propensity for picking fermented fruit off the ground. Hey, boy.
So basically, since we've been drinking forever. We're just good at it.
Yeah, we just got used to making a mess of ourselves by eating fermented fruit. Apparently, but apparently, yeah, the hamster says you could put the hamster doesn't say this. I'd have to be pretty drunk.
Why not? Wait, I say free speech for hamsters,
free speech
David.
For hamsters, that's it. I'd have to be pretty drunk if I think the hamster's speaking to me. But so you put a bottle of unsweetened
maybe
Everclear.
No, you know what? Maybe it's the lack of being drunk that doesn't let us communicate with our overlords, the hamster.
But apparently the hamsters, you don't need to get drunk to talk to a hamster because they don't get drunk. Apparently unsweetened Everclear, so that 100 and crazy proof stuff. So in other words, like it's almost all alcohol. They love it. They're gulping it down. 18 grams per kilogram of body weight a day. The alcoholic equivalent of a human drinking 1.5 liters of 190 proof Everclear.
What?
I feel like that'd get a human slightly drunk.
In the wild, hamsters...
They'd be dead.
That would kill you. I think it would kill you, wouldn't it?
No, you'd be dead.
I would say don't test that because that's like... Yeah,
you'll be dead.
You'd be alcohol poisoning for sure.
I wasn't planning to. There's much more interesting things you can test with risk of life than drinking a bunch of alcohol.
Yeah, Raccoon Noodle. Yeah. Let's not leave Tech Bandits today going like, I wonder how much 190 proof Everclear I can drink.
Well, that's boring. Come on. If you're gonna die, jump into a volcano or something. Come on.
That's true. That'd be way more fun, I'm sure. In the wild, hamsters... Oh, wow. What is that?
Oh, hi, James.
Stays there, Mike.
What was that?
I think it's a bug zapper.
It sounded like it. Did it sound like it? It totally sounded like it.
Oh, James is here too.
Hi, James. It's Jim the Evo. Did he electrocute us? It sounded like he electrocuted us. He's on mute.
What did you do?
So
he's muted. He's muted, trying to get the giant insect that's in his microphone out.
Yeah.
Oh, he's out. It was him.
It's true.
He's gone. Do you think
James.
He's being attacked by a drunk hamster.
Oh God, those drunk hamsters, man, they're crazy.
You cannot trust them.
Crazy.
Wait a second. So where was that article again? Because I thought that was kind of interesting. Spinning webs.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, the web one?
Computer screen.
See, I was right. We've already moved on from the whole cannibalism thing.
Oh yeah.
Do you know tons of animals are cannibalists in the wild?
Are they?
Oh yeah, tons. Like
Spiders
snakes eat each other. Spiders eat each other.
Well, spiders, yeah. I mean, they're
spiders, snakes.
Emperor
Chickens.
Gurney. So apparently Jonathan
Chickens?
MLH says that Emperor Gurney was testing his lightning.
Huh.
Ooh, true.
And Bite Me I'm Klingon went for the low bar humor and said that it was Gimpy G farting. There you go.
Gimpy G.
Man.
So it turns out, why would the hamster? Any theories on why the hamster would be so good at drinking?
Just
I think of a hamster
built-
as a rat.
It's just
and
built
they're
different.
vegetarians, right?
It just chooses
but
not
why?
to be drunk.
I don't think it's
Ooh,
a choice.
No,
though.
that's tough.
It's not a choice.
No. Do you think they ate fruits off the forest floor that could have been fermented quite often?
Yeah.
And then just as they evolved, the ones who didn't get drunk from it were the ones who survived longer. Because, you're not picking fights with alligators and snakes and stuff.
Do hamsters eat fruit? I'd be curious to know if they eat fruit or not.
Yeah, they're like omnivores, I think.
Are they?
Or herbivore. No, that may be wrong. For some reason, I feel like they're kind of like omnivores, but I might be wrong.
All right, let me
I
see
can't imagine a hamster eating meat. Maybe that's why.
All right. Well, so according to this article from The Atlantic, it says that...
all the way out in the ocean?
What?
Nice.
Okay, let's see what it says here. I had it for a bit here. Wait a sec. Humans have known that hamsters' affinity for alcohol since at least the 1950s, when scientists in Texas found that hamsters could outdrink the common lab rat. I guess at a party. Rats can be made...
Obviously.
Rats can be made to drink alcohol either by selectively breeding genetic lines or by feeding them a mix of sugar and ethanol until they develop a taste for the latter. Oh my God, they get them addicted. They make them alcoholics? Alcoholic rats?
My God.
What's your job? I tell you, I'm an alcoholic rat. Ethanol is the specific type of alcohol found in alcoholic drinks. But with hamsters, you could take a hamster right from the pet store, give it grain alcohol, and it would happily drink. So they're saying that...
They're saying that hamsters are crazy.
It sounds like they really are. They don't just tolerate it, they prefer it.
Oh
my God, they don't
like
just
how
tolerate
hamsters...
alcohol. They prefer it to water.
Weird.
Boy, they are the party animal.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
weird. Dude, water's so tasty. Water's the best.
But why is it? I wonder if it's got something to do with eating grains. Is that possible? Because that's like, we're talking about grain alcohol. Because isn't ethanol like don't they make ethanol out of like grain alcohol type stuff? Isn't that the...
I think so.
So we've got ours because of picking fermented fruit off the ground, but the real champs... No, here we go. I'm trying to find where... in the wild, hamsters hoard ryegrass seeds and fruit. There you go, Lance. In their burrows, and they eat this fermenting store as it becomes more and more alcoholic over the winter. There you go. So you're right. So you're right. But they add ryegrass to it as well. So they like rye and wine, basically. Isn't that wild?
PG's right.
This is what I love about Tech Bandits is we start talking about about cannibalism, and we end up talking about the party hamster.
See, I was right. I literally said in 5 minutes we're going to be talking about something completely different.
They're literally making cider. It's a really good point. Evolution 219 saying like the damn things are out there making cider. Yes, they're making their own cider. That quote comes from an article in the Inside Hook that quoted the Atlantic article. Okay, all right, very good. I mean, if they have a high tolerance, that means ethanol just turns into energy for them. I guess so. Is that right? I mean, ethanol is one of the... So here's... I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I'm going to stick on the ethanol thing for a second. There was another protest recently just outside of London, for climate change, about basically just Stop Oil Now is the name of this organization. And they're the ones that threw a tin of paint on the Van Gogh and some mashed potato on a...
Sorry, I get the message, but also... it saddens me. I don't think Van Gogh did anything.
Well, but Van Gogh was under glass, though. So it didn't do any damage to the painting. And apparently they knew that.
I know.
They were making a statement.
I know. But why Van Gogh?
My first thought was like, why? Yeah, that was my thing. Well, and
he
they
made
say...
such pretty
it's worth $150 million.
But they say that it's because of exactly that. It gets us talking about it, right? But my question is this. I'm a nerd. I don't just play a coward on television. I am not going to get arrested trying to save the world. I'm just not that kind of a hero. But I am fascinated by what are the alternatives to oil and gas and fossil fuels. Because I don't think do we have that solved yet?
Electricity, like solar power.
Yeah, but
stuff.
electricity. Where does the electricity come from, though?
Hydroelectricity, wind power things.
Well, okay, but I'm not to be devil's advocate here, but I'm going to totally be devil's advocate here. Hydroelectricity.
not to be devil's advocate.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be devil's advocate.
But seriously, think about what's involved in hydroelectricity.
Water.
And?
Moving water.
Dams.
Giant,
oh yeah, dams kind of suck, don't they?
Yeah, giant freaking dams that flood areas that aren't supposed to be flooded, that stop water in areas that usually are used to having water.
Interesting kind of thing, I think, is
People
I
die
think it's
making them?
where is it? Somewhere. I think it's like more like Norwegian, Norwegian countries.
Scandinavian
They have
always have it right. They always get it right.
no, well they have like a bunch of geothermal energy that they can get.
Yep. Geothermal's a smart one. But
yeah,
again, it's limited though, right? It's limited to where.
Yeah, no, I know it's limited, but that's a pretty. I don't know. I just thought the heat and stuff. That whole thing's kind of interesting to me.
Has anyone heard of red hydrogen?
No, have you?
So red hydrogen.
Is that just
is that something you made up? No.
No. Apparently, this is like a breakthrough. Copy the link address. I'm going to pop it in the chat. This breakthrough that they've got. So basically, what they've done is they've tied. So hydrogen is a fantastic fuel to use, except it's incredibly polluting to create, right? And it's also, it's also, that the Hindenburg blew up because of hydrogen, right?
Right. That thing that happened.
Right.
That you know that.
But what Japan's been doing is they've been betting on hydrogen, and everyone's like, well, it's expensive, it's polluting. Why are you betting on hydrogen? Well, they figured out how to take these new nuclear power plants and add a bit to it that uses this heat from these. It uses, I believe, helium gas to cool it instead of water. I think it was helium. I can't remember. I'm a little fuzzy on this.
Don't quote David on
anything. Me and the hamster were talking about it over a drink. And
of course.
And what they've done is they've started using the incredibly high heat of these reactors to create and split hydrogen out of water and stuff. And so they're basically able to make hydrogen incredibly cheaply and incredibly sustainably because of this. Because they just. I think
you could just say incredibly cheap, couldn't you? Sorry.
Well, yeah, but you can have incredibly, like, the problem with oil and gas is it's kind of incredibly cheap, right? It's, even though it's expensive now, it's still much cheaper for people to keep, sucking this crap out of the earth and burning.
No, I was sorry. I was just wondering if incredibly cheaply is grammatically correct. This has nothing to do with pricing.
Savarin says, "Greetings, Meredith," as if I was Bacay.
Is incredibly cheaply grammatically correct?
Incredibly cheaply? Probably not. So. There's a lot of lees in there. Generally doesn't
work. No, it's okay. No, I'm not bothered by it. My father just corrects my grammar a lot, so I think about these kind of things.
I correct Baz's, and Baz says, "You dropped out of high school."
That's a pretty. Honestly, I must say that's a pretty good.
He's good. He does it all the time. Yeah. My sister. I remember I told my family I was dropping out of high school, and my father invited me to leave the house because he said, like, if you're grown up enough to drop out of high school, then you're grown up enough to live on your own. So he kicked me out. But on the last breakfast while I was there, I remember being in the house. My little sister at age 10, sat there with her breakfast cereal and started singing "Beauty School Dropout, Go Back to High School."
Nice.
Oh yeah, I was like, man, I just laughed my butt off.
Isn't easy.
No, I don't want your ads. Okay, so there's an ad, but anyways, this guy 2-Bit Da Vinci, who's great, you should subscribe to him. It's fantastic. Talks about this, and it's basically it's a new approach to the creation of hydrogen. I think it's called red hydrogen because it's because of the heat, the temperature. I don't think it is. Maybe there is a color to it. I don't know, but the sense I get is that it's called red hydrogen because of the heat that's required
to create it,
to make it. Yeah. Because there's pink hydrogen, which is different, and anyways, at least it's not a political ad. What? Yeah, at least it's not. That's true. Could they start?
I don't. Well, we wouldn't be getting political ads. I don't think right now.
Well, I do. I get them because I have American accounts, right? So I get.
I see.
Dude, I have people calling
we just had we had elections, some kind of election recently.
We did. Yeah. We voted for a new mayor, and we got the old one again.
Right.
Yeah, we've just had one as well. When are you allowed to vote here? What age are you allowed to vote? Do you remember?
Think about that for a second.
Is it 18?
Yep, you're right.
I feel like it's 18.
Sorry, guys.
It is 18.
It is 18. Okay, all right. So at 18 you can vote. So you better start looking into it.
Oh God, I know.
What's happened now? I don't want to talk about the election because I don't want to get too political, but I would be curious to know what I know the result was pretty neck and neck in the States because I think what they're discussing right now is who has control of the Senate. I believe was the biggest issue. You know,
If I'm quite honest,
In America or
in America,
Canada?
if I'm quite honest
America,
about America, I don't really pay attention to politics in general, but even less so in America.
I feel like
Really?
I feel that way, but I also feel like we need to because there was a great ad that they had in the States that was like, you don't have to vote. You're young. It's just old people who vote. The problem is old people don't care about the planet because we're going to be dead before there's a problem, right? Old people don't care about education or student debt. Or any of that kind of
know.
Stuff,
But I don't have enough energy to deal with American politics. I'll focus on Canadian politics when I need to vote.
Right, exactly. Right. Well, and again, do you have any interest in going into politics? Have you any interest in like running for
No,
no
definitely
desire?
not.
No?
Well, I mean, maybe, but that sounds exhausting.
Yeah. Our state may go from blue to red. Oh, really?
Isn't it something like there's a lot of people on blue in the Senate right now, so it might flip because that's usually how it works.
So they say the U.S.
The Senate
Oh,
was
it's still very
already
split? Okay.
okay. The Senate was already 50-50 with the vice president being the tiebreaker. So basically, Democrats had the Senate.
Right.
They might now have 51 or 52, depending on Georgia and stuff.
The Democrats will?
Correct.
Wow.
But
So not the red wave that they were talking
about.
about. They lost
No,
the
not
You know what
even
I think
close.
about sometimes? Why hasn't the United States split into more countries?
We should.
I think it's the United
It
States
feels
part.
because it really does feel like they're different parts of the country are different countries altogether.
I think
they
Florida-
pride them. Sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
Like
No, I was gonna say
Florida
they
and
pride
California.
themselves on being a United States. Like that's really like that to me. That's like I think that's like isn't that like the core? The whole thing is like all of these states together.
It's supposed to be.
But
But now
I
they're
don't-
saying
Hey!
it's all states' rights. So Texas
Dr. Professor
had some
James
kind of
Gurney.
initiative to break up. Go ahead, sorry.
Dr.
The
Professor James
Civil War,
Gurney is in the house.
Civil War. Listen,
Yeah.
I understand. The Civil War also happened like, it happened long enough ago. As long as just because the states split off into separate countries doesn't mean that the states can't like interact with each other.
I mean,
the Civil War wasn't
guess.
that long ago. The Civil War was like 120 years ago.
Okay,
It's not-
well,
spoken like a true
Hello, by the way.
Brit. By the way,
it's at 120 years,
Look,
there's a lot of time for
1861.
reflection. Times
Yeah.
have changed.
it's just because
Maybe
James is old. That's all. That's why he's saying.
maybe
it's not that long.
I say 100 years is a pretty good amount of time to reflect on things.
But you know what's funny
Yeah,
about
100
it
that's
years is
true.
nothing. Man.
my wife is always pointing out how we talk about there being historic sites and buildings in Toronto, and she's always like, it's 100 years old. Big
Yeah.
deal. Because
There's,
England is so much older, right?
Near my house in Georgia, there's ancient, in quotes, ruins, and they're from like 1600s.
Yeah,
I was
there
like,
you go.
I went to a school that was built in the 1200s.
Yeah, yeah, that's literally that's the problem. Is it's like I think America has a sort of a completely different sense of history. In the history of the states, it was a long time ago, I suppose. But as you say,
Yeah, exactly. In the history and are the states that's too political. Nope.
they're not
Anyways.
united. No, they're not united. I
They're
think
not united though.
Yeah.
They're very separate, I think. Am I wrong?
If you think about the state of, a lot of southern states just now took the Confederate flag down. It's only been like 2 or 3 years.
Mhm.
So that's them wanting to keep the old ways.
And the Confederate flag is basically is equated with slavery. Is that right?
Yep.
That's the
Which it should be, because that's what it was. Yeah.
So it's hard. As someone who lives in the South, I don't want to fly a Confederate flag, but as someone who lives here and has spoken to people who do express desires and do put up the Confederate flag, it's not just about, oh, I'm pro-slavery. And I can relate to that quite a bit. So there was my grandfather was born in Rhodesia. So were my parents. And the Rhodesian flag has been used by some white supremacists. When we buried my grandfather, we put the Rhodesian flag on his coffin. Were we doing an act of white supremacy by honoring his flag from the country he lived in?
Or... I feel like that's different than being on the Capitol building.
That's hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
And then it's a direct connection. Yeah.
But the
well, you understand
the malice for subscribing to people doesn't exist in some of these people. That's not to say it doesn't exist in all these people, but there are some people who genuinely equate that flag to being proudful of southern states and not proudful of the slave trade associated with the southern states.
But are they, out of curiosity, is this generally white members of?
Typically, yes. But I know some people who are African American, who as well have Confederate flags.
I mean, again, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer there, other than the fact that I always worry because from my perspective, like straight white old guy, I feel like I've only just had my being awakened to some of these issues that that things would be seen as offensive to people. Like, I mean, I remember like getting all like flustered because I was like, oh, come on, computer stuff, master and slave. What is that? Obviously we don't mean that.
Yeah.
And as someone pointed out to me, they're like, no, that's exactly what you mean. That's the problem. Yeah. You mean master and slave. And why would you, if you understood how that affected, so again, the flag thing is fascinating to me because I just watched. Sorry, a little bit of an offside, but to speak to your point, I just watched the new All Quiet on the Western Front film, which is fascinating for anyone who. If 3 hours of misery, but it's the most beautiful misery you've seen. It's an absolutely, I think, brilliant First World War film, and it's from the German perspective, and and it's so funny to see, not funny is the wrong word, but it's so interesting to see how our hindsight looking back on this stuff, and you just go like, oh God, what are you doing? But the way they do this film, you're just like, oh God, you guys have no idea. You know what I mean? And that's and I think that's the frustrating thing. I mean, I feel like we live in a world now where I wish there wasn't borders because I feel like we've seen the planet. It's all just one planet. Why are we dividing it up? It doesn't make any sense.
1 second. I'll be right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I just want to address something in the chat from Canada.
Yeah.
I might be able to handle that for you.
What's that?
Yes,
that would be great.
There you go. He's muted. I just want to point out to Canada in the chat, like, Rhodesia hasn't existed anymore. Rhodesia is a former state in southern Africa. It is Zimbabwe, and independence was hard fought and won by the people of Zimbabwe. And I didn't mean to imply that we should still call it Rhodesia. I'm saying the flag that we buried my grandfather with was the Rhodesian flag because that's how he identified himself as a Rhodesian, because that's where he was born. And so a funny thing happened to my parents when they applied for UK citizenship was when they had to put down the place they were born in a town called Salisbury. Salisbury doesn't exist anymore. It's on their birth certificate, it says Salisbury. It's now called Harare. Like, they wrote Salisbury because that's what's written on the, and the return them saying, no, it's Harare. It's like, okay, well, Harare didn't exist when I was born.
Right, right. It's weird. I don't. And how much do you find your parents pushing back on this stuff? I mean, do you find that they're like?
My parents are, again, they were third generation Southern African. My dad's dad was born in what was now Zanzibar. They're very proud of their heritage in Southern Africa, and it's easy to say, well, there was white supremacy and oppression and stuff. That's not the people I know. That's not the impression I have of my family, and I've never seen anything to suggest that that's what they believe or feel. So it's.
But that was the system of government there. It was apartheid system, though. Was it not in South Africa? Was that the?
Well, this is Zimbabwe. But,
Zimbabwe, right. Sorry.
Zimbabwe also had a form of a. It was not quite the same as South Africa, but it's
South Africa. It was like part of their. It was literally the governing structure, was it not? That was the.
Yeah, and again, Zimbabwe and what was then Rhodesia also withheld franchise from people who were black and different. Right. And I was going to say minorities. That's my American voice. The majority in that country, and it came to a head because of they declaring themselves independent from the UK, and the UK quite rightly decided that maybe we don't want to side with people who are oppressing majority rule in a former colony. So, but yeah, they push back on the fact that they consider themselves somewhat not British. I think that's the best way to say it, because they, obviously
Canadians,
Rhodesia and Zimbabwe were British looking, but they're not. Well, they weren't born in the UK.
That's the Canadian.
Neither were their parents.
Canadians are constantly saying like, no, not American, not American. Like it's because it is a different. I mean, it is a different country. It's a different perspective on things. It's funny. So a lot of my relatives, we have the WhatsApp chat, and there's all sorts of stuff that goes on in there, and I sort of dropped out of it because I just found that I found that certainly the people in England that I know, or many of the people I know in England, have a very different perspective on this stuff than we do in certainly in Toronto. My little bubble in Toronto is very, I mean, I suppose the term is, I suppose, woke. I mean, that we're very concerned about this.
Yeah.
But
I abandoned Facebook. Same reason, buddy.
I mean, my concern though was just that my concern was that it's. I mean, it's not just woke. I think it's an absolutely essential thing. We've got to start looking at this stuff and start addressing this stuff. The problem is that as a white guy, I have to force myself to talk about it because I'm not forced to talk about it. Whereas people of color, and they don't get a choice as to whether they want to talk about it or not. It's like it's a part of their existence, and that's something I didn't understand for so long.
The very definition of the white privilege is the fact that it doesn't affect me. I have the privilege of the fact that I don't have to think about the fact that I might be profiled racially or again, and not to say that sexism doesn't happen again, and people might not treat me differently because I'm white, and maybe even treat me negatively because I'm white. But it's not. I don't ever consider that as a first assumption. I don't have to be thinking, is this person going to discriminate against me because of my race or gender?
Yes, we don't default
but
to that.
Obviously, they do discriminate.
And that's the
based
privilege
on
we
your
have in our
accent.
society. I came here to talk about elephants and LSD, and ask you about.
See, you never know what's going to happen. It's like Russian roulette here with the topics. No, just to finish up on that one for a second. There's the thing that I noticed in Canada was that everyone went on and on and on about how terrible it is, how the treatment of minorities in the States and around the world, and I kept thinking like, what about our First Nations? I mean, we're just. Like, we've literally been taken to task by the UN. Is it the UN or about our treatment of Indigenous people living in Canada? And I'm like, we go on it with Canadian. It's a wonderful. It's a place we welcome everybody, except that we're welcoming them to land that in some cases is still not ceded to the people who used to live there. Like, I mean, like we have all these. There's so many things going on here, and I know there's no easy solution to it, and I know that it's almost impossible to talk about without people getting angry at each other. I totally understand that. But it is interesting. I mean, I'd sort of welcome to have this chat with you at some point, James, because I feel like as a white British or British sounding British adjacent, yes. I definitely feel like there's a lot of stuff we have to work out, like because I feel like we've been, very rightly being held to task for a bunch of stuff. But at the same time, I also don't feel like I don't know that I've been given the tools I need to properly be an ally and to help in any way.
Yeah.
So, but
this is actually the biggest concern I have about my new job. So I am at it's not a historically black college, which is there's a destination in the US for places that are historically African American degree granting universities, but Georgia State awards the most degrees in the country to African Americans.
Huh.
So we are and obviously Atlanta is a majority African American city.
Right.
And as you said, I have not had training in how to make sure I am doing everything in my power to help people that I can. Like, it's different from being, as a professor in most places, yes, giving students access to my lab to come to research, that's a great thing to do. I currently have to think about, if I tell a student, come work in my lab, like, come volunteer in my lab. It's a very common model. Come volunteer in my lab. We'll do some research together. It'll be really fun. A lot of my students have second jobs. They are a providing member to their family unit in some fashion. So they can't necessarily work for free. So how do I go from how do I make sure that they get as good an experience somewhere else, or even better, with the same resource?
I should put you in touch with my friend Madiane, who's at Bag of Chips.
Yes, please do. She's at Toronto, right? She's I listened to one of her podcasts once.
Bag of Chips mom, and
okay,
and she is absolutely wonderful. She's a black female, arachnologist, I guess would be the term.
Yeah, but I'd love to chat to her about stuff. Yeah,
because it's not because she's black and a scientist. The problem is that she's done what she calls the black tax, which basically is that because she's black and female and in the minority, the universities want her on every board. They want her on every poster and article. I mean, like, so it's literally, they're like, and she was bothered about this for so long. They would bug her and bug her and bug her to do this stuff. Pardon the pun. She does spiders. And she's like, no, I'm a freaking scientist. I don't want to, like, just because I don't want to be like, just because I'm black, I don't want to be on all these boring committees about, like, diversity and stuff. And eventually, because of Black Lives Matter, because of that whole, that whole sort of like reawakening of these issues in such a violent way, she's like, I have to. And as a result, she's done some amazing work about bias, and she will. But here's the other thing. Is that and one of them is like, she's like, no, you want me to consult? I will get paid for this. I'm not. This
This is it.
And I think your university would be well. I mean, I will definitely put you in touch, because I think you'll. Apart from the fact that she's just her and her husband Andrew are just two of the most brilliant, wonderful, loving people you could ever know. So
I unmuted Gimpy because he was wanting to come back, and I didn't see the message. Sorry.
Oh, he wants to come back.
Hello.
You can talk again.
Gimpy G.
I'm here.
Much like Ariel, I've given him back his voice.
Ah, wonderful. Until we can get that brain to speech thing sorted out. Although
I could take over.
There you go. All right, let's talk about elephants on LSD. What do you got for us?
Yes,
Doc.
There's a great book called Elephants on LSD, and it has a whole bunch of like interesting scientific things that have been done, including
like real
the US's
science,
plan.
not
stuff that's not like, oh, we could do this. This is stuff that has been done or was like in very deep development phase. Like they were going to nuke the moon at one point. So they
what was the point of that? What was the point of doing that?
So there were several things they wanted to look at. The first things they had recently nuked. I want to say it was the ionosphere, so one of the higher parts of the atmosphere, and this caused an aurora borealis to basically go global. So,
can you imagine what damage they did with that?
It's great.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, so I think they wanted to understand if they nuke this, would that then scramble any systems going like re-entering the atmosphere? So if a nuclear warhead was launched, could you preemptively send one up and not try and hit it, but like create a shield around where it would lose its guidance system, so when it re-entered, it wouldn't be able to cause damage.
Right. Okay.
So there was a sense to it, but then there was Then the idea was like, what about nuking the moon to show Russia?
Didn't they watch that movie, like what is the skies on fire? What was that one where they were in a sub and they were driving around, like it was and the problem was they were trying to solve the fact that the sky was on fire. That was like I feel like there were enough of those movies at that time to warn them away from perhaps nuking that stuff. But okay, so they do that, and then they go, let's nuke the moon.
Let's nuke the moon. Yeah.
Just to see.
That was mostly basically to show force projection against Russia.
Yeah, that's what I wonder.
What we can do.
Yeah, that seems like it does seem a bit like punching the wall,
Yeah. So there was the other part of that is they were also developing that nuclear project, I believe, turned into the nuclear ablation propulsion system. I forget what the name of the rocket's called. It might be the Atlas.
Right. Okay.
So this is a spaceship that we would in all in as far as best we understand physics and construction materials and stuff, we'd be able to visit another star in someone's lifetime. So what it uses is a series of nuclear warheads to achieve high velocity. So it poops out a little nuclear warhead and explodes behind you, and there's a big ablation like plate that absorbs the force, so it pushes it forward, and they just keep pooping out nuclear weapons.
It looks like an umbrella, right?
Yeah,
like
a reverse umbrella.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that project was. Yeah. Again, but it ended up not being able to do it because they banned nuclear weapons in space.
Project Orion, apparently.
Oh right, yeah. So I believe those two things linked. But this book contains a whole bunch of these great scientific stories. It's a sequel as well. There's a second book by the same author, similar idea. But there was a question of
what is the book called? Just out of curiosity, what's the
Elephants on LSD?
Oh well, that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm looking it up.
So again, with the alcohol poisoning and how alcohol affects the brain, it's probably just a number of copies of alcohol dehydrogenase and how well the system is able, the liver and the kidneys are able to break down alcohol products.
Right. Is that why some people are better at drinking than others?
Possibly, and it's also there are it's I forget what the non-PC term is, but there's people of Asian or descent typically get more flushed cheeks and stuff.
Right.
I believe it's linked to that.
Right.
I might be wrong, but
although the Brits do that too, they get all flushed when they.
Yes.
Those big red ruddy cheeks of the guy at the pub. I remember that. I then became that after a while. Like once you.
My hair gets messed up. I don't know why.
Your hair gets messed up.
I can't touch it.
Oh, is that?
When I get drunk. I think it's mostly like Kipsy.
Right.
It's mostly because bikers put me in headlocks and go, "I love you, you little fucker."
Nice.
I'm sorry, you guy.
Yeah, they're very polite bikers.
They are very polite.
They're so nice.
They self-censor all the time. Better than Gimpy does, by the way. All right, LSD and elephants.
Yeah. So again, in when LSD was discovered, did you know the? I'm going to distract myself in. Do you know the first time LSD was discovered? What happened?
No.
So
was it a hamster at a party?
Yeah, a hamster at a party having a good time. The guy who discovered, I forget his name now, but he tried a little bit and thought, "Oh, this is quite nice," like just a tiny bit, and then decided to dip his finger into it and like take a lick, I believe, and took a massive dose and had to cycle home. The first psychedelic trip was this guy cycling back from his lab.
Wait a sec.
Incredibly large dose of LSD.
Sorry, my aunt called.
How did they? Sorry,
I believe it was Hoffman.
Did he discover this stuff? Had he created this stuff?
He was synthesizing it.
So it's not something that exists in nature as it is.
I don't think LSD is a natural product.
It's entirely manufactured.
Similar things.
I mean, it's not the same. Like, look at this how square I am. It's not the same as the psychopsylium, whatever they're called, the mushroom things.
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's psychopsilins are
like hallucinogenic mushroom things.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if lysergic acid is a psychopsilin or not. I'd have to look it up.
But they started making this stuff. Do you know why did this, why were they making it in the first place?
So he was synthesizing pharmaceuticals for. Was he the guy doing fabric dyes and stuff? A lot of people were doing stuff with dyes at that time. So a lot of the drug discoveries were basically trying to make new and interesting dyes.
Right.
And
then they went all tie-dye.
He was studying ergot alkaloids for pharmaceuticals.
Oh yeah, so lysergic acid is part of ergot. Yes, ergot poisoning is lysergic acid. Yeah. So ergot is the stuff that makes you dance crazy.
Ergot alkaloids for pharmaceutical use.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were the ergot alkaloids again?
Ergot poisoning is a fungus. You can get in like damp bread and damp wheat and stuff. It's what people think caused the dancing plagues in Europe in the 1600s.
Wait.
Yeah.
Dancing plagues are a real thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. You can't.
They actually couldn't stop
right?
dancing?
You can't.
Yeah, people died.
Yeah. How bizarre is
Oh.
that?
This is
fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, but why would so they're like, oh, let's study that. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, there's all our drugs that we have are based almost all of them are based on natural products which do something chemically to the body that's like, okay, in the right dose, we could possibly make this do something better. I was at a talk last Friday, which was fantastic, where a guy was talking about carbon monoxide as a drug.
Huh.
So carbon monoxide, everyone considers carbon monoxide poisonous, right?
Right.
It will kill you. The actual dose required to kill you is far lower than some actual like over-the-counter drugs.
So that's the classic case, just for our tech bandits. So carbon monoxide is the stuff that you get coming out of cars, and it will kill you.
Yeah,
and that's why we have sensors in our homes against
or any fire.
That's why you're not supposed to sit inside a car with it on.
Right.
In an enclosed space, if I'm correct.
And it's isn't it like colorless and odorless, and you just
colorless, odorless, nearly there's no smell.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy was talking about doing this, or this woman was talking about this person, I guess is the way of putting it, was talking about using this as a drug.
Yeah, so your body has carbon monoxide as a signaling molecule. So when your blood vessels break down, a little bit of carbon monoxide is actually released, and that tells the cells, it changes the gene expression a little bit and tells them, oh, I've actually maybe got a little. If it builds up a little too high, there's probably some damage in one of the organs, or blood is being destroyed at an unusual rate, and it's able to sense that change in CO and act appropriately. So,
wow,
pharmaceutical companies and pharmaceutical chemists, that's the kind of things they care about. Like, how can we use these interesting changes to biophysiology, how the body reacts to stuff, to provide a treatment? So there are places where carbon monoxide might be an effective treatment, and he was talking about nicotine as a really nice example of like a counterintuitive. So people have ulcerative colitis. I've been awake since 2 a.m., so I'm sorry.
Ulcerative, right?
Yeah, colitis. UC colitis.
James.
Yes.
Why have you been awake since 2 in the morning?
Oh, because I flew. I'm at a conference. I flew. From Atlanta to LA. So I'm
been partying with hamsters. What do you?
Yeah. Hamster flights. So yeah, if you smoke a single cigarette or up to 5 cigarettes a day, you're actually slightly protected against UC as a disease state. But obviously, there's far worse things that will happen to you from smoking.
Right.
But you won't get ulcerative colitis. Or if you're pregnant and you smoke a cigarette, terrible idea. Do not do it. But you have a far lower risk of getting preeclampsia.
Which is?
It happens late term. Basically, was preeclampsia the one where the womb tissue has an inflammation reaction?
That's
it rejects the baby type thing. Is that the?
So I think so. I'd have to look it up to be sure. Don't take my word for it. But again,
so is there a way to find a balance where you can not be smoking a cigarette but be having
what is the drug in the cigarettes that is causing this interaction?
Right.
Can we isolate that effect and use it as a therapy and try and minimize, because you'll never get rid of it, minimize the negative effects?
Well, it's like warfarin, the drug that kills rat poison, basically. It kills rats, but in small, tiny little doses, it's great at thinning the blood, I guess, for people who have issues with like clotting and stuff, right?
Wait, isn't nicotine an insecticide? That's kind of why the plant developed. Okay, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So that keeps away bugs because it doesn't. Interesting.
Yeah.
That is neat. Sorry, someone was talking about the election, says that the red wave proving to be a bit of a pink trickle.
Yeah. What was the other thing you want to mention? That Georgia's having a runoff state, so if you're in Georgia, please vote.
So Georgia is doing a runoff, so we got to do this all again.
Georgia's definitely doing a runoff, yeah.
Man, that's going to be expensive. They spend a lot of money on this one.
Yeah.
You know what we could spend it on? Alternatives to oil and fuel, to oil and gas.
No, but dude,
we haven't even gotten to the elephants on LSD
Walker
yet.
is?
He's a football player, isn't he?
Correct. Mm-hmm. In our day, he was like the first USFL player. And this guy, had so many concussions He's barely coherent. And yet, there he is. He's so close that they have to do a runoff. It's amazing.
The thing is, they're both quite dynamic. I mean, they say. I mean, I don't agree with obviously.
He's not dynamic at all.
Wait, a runoff?
Really? No, I saw him being interviewed about some stuff, and he did I thought he did I mean, look, I disagree with everything that came out of his mouth, but he was. I got the feeling like he got the crowd going. He got the Republican crowd going.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, sure.
So these are the Republican.
It's just the Georgia election,
which is a big one
for Senate.
Because it's
the Georgia one will probably decide who controls the Senate,
and you have to have at least 51%. Otherwise, they do. Is it 51%? Or
50%? Yeah.
And then otherwise,
if you have 50% and the vice president, you control the Senate.
But they have a runoff if you don't get 50% of the vote.
Oh, for Georgia, yeah, you have to have exactly 50% to win. Yeah.
Tweety Row, hello, Tweety Row. Okay, so in a bid to creates LSD, accidentally takes far too much of it, and then cycles home.
Yes.
Does it kill you? I don't know anything about it. Does it?
LSD could probably kill you. You'd have to take quite a big dose. So if I remember correctly,
I think the danger is less the drug and more the fact that it's a hallucinogen, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're gonna,
what you're gonna do well on the drug probably will kill you more than the drug will.
Yeah.
If I'm correct on that, right?
As my son would say, let me call my dealer and ask.
Yeah.
That's what Baz said. I asked him about what drugs they were using at school, and he said there's some new one apparently that the kids are using, and I said, oh, I don't know anything about that. He goes, okay, I'll call my dealer and ask. Okay, so but he understands, like, he's taken this stuff. He's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
What have I done?
The typical dose is about 10 to 20 micrograms of LSD.
Really, yeah, it's not like
a lot. And he took a dose of, I just looked up, he took a dose of, I've lost the number now. Where did I put it?
Too much?
He took a dose of too much. He took a dose of 250 milligrams. So over 10 times higher than a typical dose. So he definitely had a less than pleasant experience on his bike.
Been freaking out. Like, he's got to be like, because no one's ever done this before. No one's like,
no one had taken it before.
No one can tell you, it's okay, dude. In a year's time, you'll be back to normal again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they're like, hey, this is great. Let's use it in everything.
Yeah. And the elephant friend, he had a dose of about 3,000. So sorry. No, he had a dose of about 300. So
oh god.
On the scale of, like, this guy took 250 in his bike ride, and then they gave the elephant 300. Elephants are obviously fairly large compared to a small Dutch guy on a bike.
Right.
The elephant died. Like, it just collapsed.
Oh my god! Why? Do they know why?
So there's several theories, like, potentially the LSD can't be broken down correctly inside the elephant's body.
It's just straight poison.
Yeah.
Why did they want to give it to an elephant anyways?
So there's a paper from 1960, and it starts off. It's great. It's the first lines. Because of his remarkable intelligence and his lifespan, capacity for highly organized group relationships, and his extraordinary psychology in general, the elephant is an animal of great interest to zoologists. Like, that's their rationale. Elephants are neat.
Elephants are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Let's find the largest thing we can and give it like the craziest trip. Oh my god! Like, what? Yeah. We're just really are not. I think, as you say, our sign of intelligence will be just wiping ourselves off the face of the planet, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Jesus. Okay, and this whole book is just about us doing stupid things to animals.
No, not just to animals.
Right. To us, ourselves.
I feel so bad for the elephant. What a horrible way. Could you imagine dying, like hallucinating, and so much that you die? Like, that's hell. I mean.
Well, I mean, I don't even know how to answer that.
I feel sad for the elephant.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you get older. You get turned into a big suck. So, I mean, look, we used to test on animals all the time. I stopped fishing because I just suddenly went, wait a second. How do I know it doesn't hurt when the hook goes in their mouth? You know what I mean? Like I just don't. I feel like, you know, I can understand fishing for food, but most of the stuff
not interesting, anyways.
Well, most of the stuff you pull out of the lake is, you know, anything I pulled out of the lake I wouldn't want to eat. You know, so it's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about the idea of these lab grown, like the brain. The brain cells that can play Pong that we talked about yesterday. Noodles, you missed it. But
yeah, I was actually like, I'm surprised you're having another TechBandits so soon.
Well, here's the thing. I figure when I've got time, I should do it, because when I don't have time, I don't. So I thought, you know,
That's usually how most things work. Yes.
I also like it. I like having these discussions because I get to talk about stuff that I'd never talk about normal. I don't normally get to talk to hamster loving, you know, doc professors like James R. Gurney. You know what I mean?
Like the fabulous James R. Gurney.
Yeah. You know, or you know, and you know, Lance and I, we don't get nearly enough time to talk. So there you go. And then every so often, Noodle shows up.
Exactly.
That's great. Yeah. You know, and Vipup's
every so often,
here.
I grace you with my presence. You know?
Vipup's always here. You know. So
he's always watching.
Yeah, he's got a new Mark Rober kit, by the way.
Ooh, I forgot that Mark Rober was doing this.
Yeah. And I just watched the new Squirrel Olympics that he just did.
Oh, I still have to do that. It's on my list.
It's kind of fun. It's a fun watch for sure. But okay, so so James, we were talking about you know, we're talking about the whole idea of this sort of LSD thing, this sort of approach to this, the development of things. I mean, I'm kind of fascinated by the idea of like things that are bad for us that are good for us. So what is the so-called benefit of LSD or the mushrooms they're talking about as well now? I guess they're both hallucinogenic.
So LSD, I believe, in the surgic acid sort of like vasoconstrictors, so they could be useful in migraine treatments.
Wait.
There's also very good work on potentially treating psychological issues like depression.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't LSD the one where it helps like with depression?
I think it's mostly psilocybins, so that's from magic mushrooms, but I believe LSD's also been tried in microdoses to some effect.
I think I'm just thinking of hallucinogens.
Yeah.
The problem
so
because
lithium.
There's something about I forget what it was. It's like you go and then they just give you a bunch of this drug and then you like once a month or something like that. Then it helps.
They talk about this microdosing thing, which again, part of my issue that I have with a lot of this stuff is I think a lot of it gets caught up in a culture, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like I hear an awful lot of this pseudoscience stuff about, hey man, no, I took this. It's a lot of anecdotal stuff. Like I was watching this fantastic looking documentary called Fantastical Fungi or something. It's a documentary on mushrooms. And it's like beautiful shots of these things growing and all this kind of stuff. And there's some interesting stuff that they were doing with it. One of them I liked was that they were growing this mushroom around houses, and that was stopping the termites. So instead of using toxic crap, you know, spraying this stuff and destroying the environment, instead you just planted this mycelium around the house, and it just they won't cross it. They're like, no, I don't want that virus. I don't want that. So a fantastic use of it. And then halfway through this documentary, this guy said, and then I took way too much, whatever it was. I took an entire bag of mushrooms and I climbed a tree in a thunderstorm and I came down and I didn't stutter anymore. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, that's anecdotal stuff. That's like, it's not, show me the paperwork on this. There's like,
that's not even the half of it. Like, why? That doesn't seem like a trade-off for getting rid of a stutter. Like,
well, that's what I said. So your advice to people is to take way too many of these so-called magic mushrooms and then go out in a dangerous storm and climb a tree. I mean, like, it just, but what was frustrating to me was this was being pitched like a documentary. And I'm like, this is not a documentary. If you start making, I understand hearing people's stories, but to intercut that with the science of the mycelium that's stopping termites and stuff, that really bothered me. And I feel like there's an awful lot of this kind of like, dare I say, like Joe Roganism about it, like where there's this like, it's like Elon Musk at his 420 and all that stupid pot joke stuff. It just is, I'm like,
that's like if you, that's, and then the stories are going to turn into other things too. It's going to be like, it cured my stutter, and after I did this crazy thing in, like, I don't know, Arizona, now I can, like, use both my hands.
Well, that's the
To
frustration.
write or something.
At the same time, as a scientist,
I'm ambidextrous now.
I mean, but you want to explore all these things, right? I'm not saying you should take the stuff yourself, but I'm saying, but you want to explore to see if there's any science behind it, because if there is science behind this stuff, like we thought it was crazy, God, it used to be like crazy for people to like, there's no such thing as depression. Just get out of bed and get on with it. Come on. Like, everyone has a bad day. Get out of,
Yeah.
Like,
you say used to, people still.
I used to get up 10 hours before. I mean, like, it's, it was used to be like, terrible, you weren't a real man if you complained about being depressed and stuff.
Honestly, what I've learned from all that stuff is, everyone used to be really sad, but people didn't talk about it. So I think it wasn't like depression never existed. It was like nobody ever talked about it, or some still don't talk about it.
It was,
and they just ignored it.
It was seen as a weakness for sure, and I think that
the other option, of course, is everyone was really happy and there was very little depression.
Well, see, that's so funny. Happier. You talk to some old people, and it's almost they're like, "Well, we never had any of these problems." It's like it's because nobody talked about them. You know what I mean? Eating, because no one had eating disorders. I have to do a few hellos. We've got a first-time chat. Yes, it is Rodney McKay. Another first-time chat.
I can't believe that everyone was so happy, like, I don't know, 50 years ago. That doesn't make sense.
No, they weren't.
So Ramsey Pilgrim,
because
hello.
like I don't know.
Hello.
I have a lot of I know a lot of very sad people. I can't imagine them like being born 50 years earlier would change them being very sad.
Well, I think it also depends on your circumstances too, right? I mean, I people found joy during the Second World War, even though they were being bombed, like in the same way that Ukraine Ukraine is still reveling in gardens that they have to replant every time the idiot Putin flings a missile at them. You know what I mean? Like it's like I feel like people find joy in everything. It's how we cope with things.
You can't find joy in things. I'm just saying that I don't think depression didn't exist just because 50 years ago people thought it didn't.
We just didn't talk about it 50 years ago. Like you could.
Yeah.
I feel like it might have just been the normal around 50 years ago, and now.
They used to shock people. They used to put electricity through their brains in the hopes that was.
Don't they still do that? Isn't that like a type of treatment?
I don't think they still do it, do they?
Yeah, no, I think they totally do.
Lobotomies.
So
well, not lobotomies, but isn't electrotherapy totally a thing?
In my lifetime,
electroconvulsive therapy is still done.
It's still done.
See? Yes. But is it bad for? Isn't it still good for you? Like, not still good for you. I just mean like.
I believe they still use it to treat depression.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not like a bad thing as far as we're aware.
But is it the same as it used to be? Is it more localized maybe, or is it?
It's not. You're not. As far as I understand, you're not holding gigantic iron bars and having a half electric chair put through. I believe they do more of a triggered.
Yeah, no, no, it's not that.
So
it's not like that, but they definitely use electrotherapy is totally a thing.
It's
yes,
just
they
stimulate like parts of the brain, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting. I still feel like we're just bashing away at that. The brain.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So this is my problem with a lot of the psychedelic literature. And again, just to say on the LSD stuff, there are clinical reviews, like large scale systematic reviews, so the best kind of like scientific proof you can have, like multiple papers reviewed by experts over decades, say this is what all these papers found and this is what we think that it's showing. They found a positive association with giving LSD to treat depression.
Yeah,
it works. It almost certainly works.
It works.
Why it works is a much more important question, because
I forget what it was, but there's like a ton of things like where we use it but we don't know how it works. We're like, we did this and it works. How? Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, perfect example. Like, we were talking the other day about the eye and how the eye doesn't just see a projection. The brain doesn't just see a projection of what our eyes show it.
It flips.
It flips it, but it doesn't send an image. It just sends signals from hundreds of little or thousands or millions of little tiny basically sensors. And then the brain has to turn it into an image. So, and we still don't know how, like, most of that works. You know what I mean? They don't even know what part of they know roughly what part of the brain things.
Well, we don't even know. No one knows how the brain works, really.
But that's fascinating. But what's fascinating is that how little we understand, even though we understand a base. Imagine what's going to happen when we truly understand all the elements of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
But
just
that's like
so
that's
cool.
like the you only use 50% of your brain thing, which isn't true.
Which is
Yeah.
is false. Yeah.
I heard a song the other day on Spotify called "Born a Worm," which it's not exactly kid friendly, but it sums up the scientific question. So
really?
I like interesting music.
I finished
the lyrics.
finally.
What?
Oh, good.
You've got your teeth done already?
Yes, and I was in the meeting the whole time.
Wait a second. You left, got your teeth drilled, and came back again, and we're still talking about elephants on LSD?
I guess.
I don't think we were.
Cow.
Wow.
That's a record, honestly.
How does it feel?
I didn't get numbed today, though.
Oh, you didn't get numbed.
Oh, then it must have not been deep enough. Yeah,
Oh,
no, that I've had that before.
So they just take off a little bit, but it's not far enough in that the nerve's not there, right?
Yes.
You know,
Basically, it's not going to hurt.
our friend Pac Mom is a dental hygienist? No, dental assist. I got to get this right. It's not.
Is Pac Mom here? Can Pac Mom tell us?
I don't think so. I haven't seen Pac Mom today, but I don't know what the term for her. I should know this because we actually we had a long chat about it. But anyways, she knows all about all this kind of stuff. So 50% of medicine is training. 50% is an educated guesswork, says Coran.
Actually, I never said hi to Cal. Hi, Cal. I forgot to say hi.
Nobody says hi to Cal. She'll just turn on you.
I quite like Cal.
She'll turn
That's
on
great.
you. Yeah, you just.
Cal's
it's
my
like you
favorite.
reach out a hand. In
I keep
peace,
saying
she
people
bites
are my
off.
favorite. Maybe Dave is just not my favorite.
She should be asleep right now because it's well past her bedtime
should
at this
be.
point. Where are you, James? Where are you?
I'm in LA.
How's my little home away from home?
I
Where
don't
in
know what
LA?
the time difference from here to LA is, but
3 hours.
Yeah. Where in LA?
ahead or behind?
In between.
Behind. In my mind,
behind?
I say behind.
Behind. Yeah.
We always used to joke that LA was always at least.
What do you mean by in between? Do you mean like?
Well, because it depends where you are, basically, right?
Right. Okay. Well, yes, but like according to the prime meridian or whatever it's called, how many hours you're going to be behind minus hours because you're west. So how many hours? I did time zones.
Are you going by?
It's 3:30 here right now.
Okay.
That helps.
So it's 3:30 there.
Hi, Cal.
But where in LA are you?
I
What
am
part of LA?
outside Disneyland. Like it's across the street.
Oh,
from me.
that's
I'm in
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You're in Pasadena, not Pasadena.
Anaheim.
Anaheim.
See,
Anaheim,
thank you,
that's it. Yeah.
Corin.
There you go.
And it's,
California is
literally,
-8 from the prime meridian.
it is outside my hotel room, and I'm going to spend the entire week refusing to go there because I
Disneyland?
You gotta go.
I've been before. I don't.
But
Lines aren't worth it. The lines aren't worth it.
No, they're not. But come on, you gotta do a couple of rides. You can't go to Disney. Although I guess if that's I once went bowling and refused to bowl because
we're in EST.
They wanted me to wear shoes.
I'm not in Disneyland. I'm at a conference that just happens to be next door to it. So
what is the conference about?
There are 6 time zones in Canada.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also,
you got that weird half-hour one on the East
yeah,
Coast
no, that's the only. I don't know why Newfoundland has half an hour. It's weird. It's the only place like anywhere that does that.
Why is Newfoundland weird?
I don't know why Newfoundland adds half an hour. It's.
I gotta
so
say,
basically
Newfoundland
it's
is one of my favorite places on the planet.
Atlantic Standard Time plus half an hour.
So
that's gonna be like all the other. What are they called? All the other.
Time zones?
Maritime provinces.
Right. Okay. Right.
How many time zones are there in China?
I could not tell you. I only did Canadian geography. It's a long.
Oh, really? They're like
one.
They're like, forget it.
Right. It is one.
It's probably way more efficient than all these stupid time zones, which I can never. The number of times I've missed meetings or got in an hour early or 3 hours early or.
It's one. It's 1 hour. It's all one time zone, and then people just do things at different hours, basically.
Why not? I make sense. Like none of us work on this 9 to 5 is. I mean, I'd love to know what the percentage of people who work 9 to 5 anymore. Like especially since the pandemic, right?
Give me a second.
And they're saying that all this, leap forward, jump back, and all this all that crap. Apparently, it costs a fortune and causes deaths and all sorts of stuff.
It causes heart attacks.
Yeah, it's been
Hello?
proven. It's been proven to be bad for you, basically.
Yeah.
9 to 5 has not been the standard work week for most people in North America for a long time, David. Yeah, I mean that's.
Give me a second. Most of my keyboard isn't working. That's fun.
You broke your keyboard?
I don't.
Not your
so.
not your fancy keyboard. Your fancy white.
Why doesn't the R key work? Hello?
Oh, you gotta clean it. There's probably finger salsa. In there.
Reset.
Yeah.
Finger salsa.
I wanted to say that I mentioned that song "Born a Worm," and it just perfectly sums. I was saying this to my wife the other day in the car. Like it perfectly sums up the frustration of being a research scientist. So
Really?
there's a very the song lyrics are I'll censor it when it's rude, but it's born a worm, spins a cocoon, goes to sleep, wakes up a butterfly. What the F is that about? And that's the entire song.
That's the entire song,
Which
is so true.
Song.
It's weird.
It's
what is that about?
But at some point,
it's only certain keys that aren't working.
Isn't it? At some point, it's liquid, isn't it? Like basically, like
yeah,
it's not
more
even...
or less, it completely disintegrates.
Yeah,
and rebuilds itself into
like,
a new.
It breaks itself down, and then reconfigures it. It's the same thing with the. I get the same feeling from the frog going from a tadpole to a frog, where it dissolves its own tail and then incorporates it back into its skeletal structure. It's extraordinary.
Question here.
Yes.
My keyboard, it's weird. Certain letters aren't working. Tech ideas? Why?
Have you spilt anything on it? Because it has a capacitive board underneath it. So if part of that board's broken or damaged,
I guess it could be water damage, but I doubt it.
You can pop off the keys too and just see if there's anything in there.
Yeah, no, I have.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem then.
Try another keyboard as well is always an option.
No, it's a nice keyboard. It's a good one.
No, I mean just to see if it's the actual keyboard's at fault.
I see. Right. I don't.
Is it wireless?
It's a very nice keyboard.
Is it
wasn't like a Razer?
Yes.
Black Widow or something.
It's a Lumina or whatever. It's got got unicorn vomit on it.
Wait, it might not be a problem with the keyboard because the space bar works in game. It just doesn't work when I type. What?
Oh, she's playing a game.
It doesn't work on Google. What?
Well, it's possible something's conflicting. It's possible that the game has hijacked the keys potentially.
No, because I can type on Discord. I can type on Discord. I'll try that.
I'm about to say what everyone's about to say. Reboot.
What? What's everyone about to say?
Reboot.
Turn it on off again.
Basically,
reboot
turn it off,
and on.
Yeah,
We turned it on.
It'll off.
Yeah. Well, give me a second.
It's so frustrating that that actually happened. Well, you know what? Look, I'm actually going to wrap up because I've got to go make dinner because I didn't realize it was actually. I forgot we started late, and so everyone's going to be very hungry soon. Yesterday I made. Get this. I made butter chicken from scratch.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. It just tasted like stew, but that's not the point. The point is that I tried. All right, everybody. Brandon, thank you very much for the subscription. Thank you, everybody, for the subscription. I'm sorry if I haven't named you, named and shamed you personally. I am going to, I'm going to wrap up now because I got to go make some dinner and I got to, sleep, those kind of things. I am going to be back. What's the deal? When am I going to be back?
I'm gonna wrap up. I'm gonna leave anyways because I have to reset my computer.
You're not allowed to wrap up. I'm wrapping up.
That's what yes. But
Noodles, thank you so much for coming in. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Aw, thanks.
James, thank you again. I can't believe you've been up since 2 a.m. You're hanging out in the city of lights,
James.
And you're still coming and talking.
Wait, no, it's 3. It's 3 p.m. though. You shouldn't go to bed, I guess.
It's like 4. I actually came back to my room to have a nap. That's why I'm not very
well done. You've done a great job. You've done a great job of it. Sorry, I asked you, and then I don't think I tuned in. What was the convention about?
It's Abercrombie. So, what does that stand for? That is annual medical research conference for minority background scientists. So the big society for biology, for microbiology, ASM, puts this on annually, and the idea is to give a platform for scientists from I was going to say minoritized backgrounds, but minorities to give them a platform to present their work and get them into grad school or industry. So it's been 20 years now, and it's a fantastic place to come and allow undergraduates to present their work and get put in front of people who are, on the other side of the hiring.
And
so
the idea
like you, James, super cool.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm here. I'm here to recruit people. I'm here to find excellent students and try and recruit them to my lab.
And so you're trying to convince her to come to University of Georgia and work out of your lab.
Yes.
Wow. Well, it just seems like a no-brainer. They must be lining up.
Exactly. I'd be lining up. Maybe just for an autograph.
Yeah. I've had a lot of applicants, but I've got to be selective.
And how many do you need?
2.
Just 2?
Ooh,
just 2.
That's hard.
It. So they're flying you across the damn country to find 2.
Well, I'm also obviously promoting the research department in its entirety. It's not just me, but
and how old are these students? Like, how old are these people?
These are undergraduates, so 22 at the oldest, 21 at the oldest, typically. But again, because of systemic reasons, some of them are actually older as well because they've had to do second careers and stuff. So they're finishing the undergraduate.
Are these fun jobs, or are they're like I mean, is this like stuff that are they getting to do some cool stuff? It's not just
they'll be doing a PhD in my lab.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would be cool.
Yeah.
As soon as you fix the plumbing, they'll be fantastic.
The plumbing is fixed.
Very
the plumbing
good.
is done. My thumb is finally healed. I spent 25 minutes with my thumb in a high pressure hose,
which is basically like a cutting. They use it for cutting. For God's sake.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't move my thumb for 2 days. I could move it. It was so tight and so painful. I couldn't move it very well.
Oh wow! How did you do that?
You could have found something other than your thumb to stick over it.
I tried multiple things because the pipe was so far behind, like the sink, that I couldn't get anything else in there.
Wait, this is because of the bathroom problem, or whatever. Not the plumbing.
Now, well, sorry. Yeah, I'll let you answer this.
I had something under the sink in my lab went to pop off and start spraying everywhere. So
but
I had to.
High pressure water, right?
So
Incredibly high pressure
over
water.
It's not incredibly high pressure water. I think it was like 5 psi or something. So it's still like a lot, but
right.
James,
a hamster could have handled it.
Yes.
You could have stuck a drunk hamster on it.
Hamsters die the most traumatic deaths. I swear. Like,
why
ask someone how their hamsters
always on hand in case to fill these issues.
Ask someone how their hamster died, and like 90% of the time, it's like, yeah, I had 2 hamsters, and like one of them ate the other, and my sister like cried.
The cat got mine.
Yep, see?
That cat was after the damn hamster the whole time, and I thought I had it down, but nope.
Oh, David?
Yeah.
We're wrapping up?
Oh, we're wrapping up. They're right. We're totally wrapping up.
We're attempting.
Dr. Professor Perfect, have a wonderful nap. Get some naps while you can, so you can be brilliant and bring in the next amazing generation of students to work in the lab. I want to hear all about it. And Lance, sir.
He got abducted for dinner, he said. He had to
what?
Go. Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, fine.
He found himself
right.
out.
Noodles, thank you very much. Vibe Pup, thank you very much. And also...
Oh, my keyboard's working again.
Is Fluffy the cat? Fluffy's not here anymore. Okay, all right, great. So I think we've bored everyone away. Perfect. All right, so we will... I don't know when I'll be back, but at the very latest, it'll be next week. So looking forward to seeing you all again. Thank you much. Be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Until we geek again, I will say cheerio and huzzah! And then I will actually end the stream this time, as opposed to just sitting there staring.
Okay, I have to pop off now.
Eating popcorn. Bye, Noodles. Thank you. All right, folks. Talk soon. Cheers.